Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. I got a little social experiment I want to do. We gonna see how it play out. Peace, peace, peace. The topic is Carl Jung. We're gonna get into the archetypes of the mind, and we're gonna talk a little bit about projection, the animus and the anima, and how it all applies. But first, I got this social experiment I wanna do before I really get involved in what I want to talk about today. Because I know, I know the projectors are on their way. And when they come, we get a chance to see how people project their fears onto the next individual for a lack of understanding, lack of empathy, and all of that. It's really easy and we do it all the time. But I want to show them, you know what I'm saying, how easy it is to reel them in. Most individuals don't come to gain a perspective or to gain any information. They come to argue and to debate. So you've already made it up in your mind that I'm not coming to learn. Peace, 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 peace. I'm doing a little social experiment. You know how every time we get up here and we get to spin anything or whatever, we have the projectors that come up here and want to project negativity, anything that's coming from within inside of them, whether they know it or not. And I know they're on their way. I know they're on their way. So before I even start, I want them to come, get all that out of their system first, and then we're gonna discuss everything. Like I said, we talking about Carl Jung, the collective unconscious, the archetypes, and projection, the dangers of it, basically. I know they on their way. I know they on their way. Before I start, do anybody know who Carl Jung is? Y'all familiar with Carl Jung? He's not even an author. He's a psychiatrist, a Swiss psychiatrist. But he has a lot of information out because he's a psychiatrist, and they didn't put all of his stuff together basically, all of his works and stuff. They put them together in books. He funded what that is psychoanalysis, a psychiatrist who funded psychoanalysis or analytical psychology. That's what he funded. Analytical psychology, psych, uh, you know what I'm saying? That's just a tongue twister. Young worked Jung's work has been influential in the fields of psychiatry, anthropology, archaeology, literature, philosophy, psychology, and religious studies. He really dives in to the subconscious mind, or what we call the subconscious mind. He calls it the unconscious mind, or the collective unconscious. Well, I guess I guess we didn't put up some type of force field around ourselves, because they ain't coming. They usually be in here, and I'm happy about that. I ain't even gonna lie. I get tired of fighting with those individuals all the time about frivolous things. Okay, I guess we can get into it. I'm just gonna start reading, and that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. Y'all got questions? Y'all can ask me. We talking about the archetypes. We're talking about Carl Jung. We're talking about the subconscious, aka the collective unconscious, or the personal conscious, unconscious, the personal unconscious, the collective unconscious, the unconscious, the subconscious. This is what we're talking about. Okay. The sad truth is that this is a transcript that I'm reading. So, in case you guys want to know, and I'm gonna start reading from my book too, not my book, but a book. The sad truth is that man's real life consists of a complex, exorable opposites: day and night, birth and death, happiness and misery, good and evil. We're not even sure that one will prevail over the other, right? That the good will overcome evil, or joy will defeat pain, right? Life is a battleground. It has always been, and it always will be, right? That was by Carl Jung, Approaching the Unconscious. Of the many metaphors used to describe a life in process, the metaphors of a battle is one of the more appropriate, right? In this battle, our own self is both our greatest ally and our greatest opponent. With the dynamic tension existing between those elements of our personality, moving us forward into personal growth, and those holding us back. Each person also can each person must also contend with the potential for good and evil that lies within. Rather, our negative strengths and capacity for good get the upper hand, or our weakness and capacity for evil is very much a product of this battle waged within the self. Far too many people, however, right, set themselves up for defeat as they are unwilling to acknowledge the destructive side of their being. Utilizing various psychological defense mechanisms, such people do their best to stay ignorant to their faults and weaknesses. I'm gonna stop right there for a second. What y'all think that means when they say that this battle, this metaphor of a battle, and it's two aspects of ourselves basically, or many aspects or whatever, but we'll find that the self, what we deem as the self, or our true self in actuality, right, is and can be and will be at sometimes our greatest both ally and opponent. You have to make your life work for you, not the other way around. Let me see. See though, the original of this is the Ned. And we're not discussing Baphomet right now. That's up there for the projectors. Those who don't have no type of understanding. You know what I'm saying? Now, what you just said was absolutely right, and that's the first individual I've ever heard, or you know what I'm saying, I've come across that even know about that original name. You know what I'm talking about? Of Baphomet. But because you just got here, I'm just gonna let you know it's not about Baphomet. That's really just for me, it's a protection schedule. You feel what I'm saying? Because we have projectors that come up here all day, every single day, and don't want to get no information. You know what I'm talking about? But you came up here and you understood it. But I just want to let you know what's going on. Peace. We family. So what I'm saying is your life has to work for you, but it has to work for you by way of you. And the only way, right? In my eyes, I was saying this, you have to acknowledge both sides. It's telling you to acknowledge the destructive side as well. Because we can say all things are made up of good and all that stuff or whatever, then why does quote unquote bad things happen? And because everything consists of both negative and positive polarities. You know what I'm saying? So if everything in life consists of both negative and positive polarities, right, then you would have to identify and address and acknowledge, you know what I'm talking about, both sides of yourself. We could be dealing with what we deem as our quote unquote good side, and it's actually the destructive side, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So it's very key to be looking in and looking within us basically and seeing what's going on. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay. In doing so, right, these elements of their personality are relegated to their unconscious and make up the realm of the psyche. Jung called the shadow, right? The shadow exerts an active influence on our personality and affects our behavior in a myriad of unforeseen ways, right? um, when we behave in a manner which is a product of our shadow, perhaps we treat someone poorly or take in a self-destructive behavior rather than taking responsibility for such actions. Most people make use of the psychological phenomenon known as projection in order to avoid facing up to their shadow. What is projection? They go on to say projection occurs when we attribute an element of our personality, which resides in our unconscious. So if y'all following me, when I be talking about the subconscious, this is what I mean. It has all of our memories. It has all of our instincts. It has full control over everything inside of our body that we don't control consciously. Right? This is stored inside of your subconscious mind. So projection occurs when we attribute an element of our personality which resides in our unconscious to another person or group. We can project both negative and positive characteristics. However, there is a greater tendency to project the former than rather than the latter. Sigmund Freud, I think that's how you say his name, who polarized the term in the 1890s, believed projection to be a defense mechanism to avoid the anxiety that is provoked when one is forced to face up to their faults, weaknesses, and destructive tendencies. Right? So that's why I put that up there. You know what I'm saying? It's many different ways to look at it. That's why I put that up there, right here. Look, we can project both negative and positive characteristics. However, there is a greater tendency to project the former rather than the latter. Sigmund Freud, who polarized the term in the 1890s, believed projection to be a defense mechanism to avoid the anxiety that is provoked when one is forced to face up to their faults, weaknesses, and destructive tendencies. So the quote unquote individuals that will come in here and will try to disrupt the flow of information that is being that is flowing or whatever, right? They feel in their hearts, right, that everything that they're doing is good. You'd be crazy if you thought that whatever you're doing was good or bad. It really just is. It's egotistical to think otherwise. You feel what I'm talking about? Because we dealing with both. You know what I'm talking about? And it only really personally it only really matters to you. You know what I'm saying? So when you going out trying to, I guess, um, prove, let's say, prove that this is good and this isn't bad, you know what I'm saying, for someone else's acknowledgement or whatever, and that's when you fail and that's when you're wrong. When those individuals go up there in the comments or whatever, and they be talking about whatever they be talking about, whatever, they feel like that's the right thing to do. But that gets you nowhere. You have anxiety. You be getting real anxiety. I can feel it through the phone when you be talking, when they be commenting and all that stuff. I can feel that. Everybody else can feel that. It's called empathy. Jung's Jung's view of projection was similar to Freud's, right? As Jung explains in The Archaic Man, projection is one of the commonest psychic phenomena. Everything that is unconscious in ourselves, we discover in our neighbor, right? And we treat them accordingly. So they get up here, they see, oh, here we go. Found them, found them, found them. There we go. Was waiting for you. That's why that was up there. We ain't what you call it. We're not trying to be religious. I understand that it's individuals that utilizes this in the religious format. That's not what I'm doing. Religion literally means to bind back. You feel what I'm saying? What do you think that means? Bind you from what? We're here to learn. Since 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 all an individual can understand is their quote unquote religion, that's what they'll put up. They pull up Allah. What do y'all? Allah Akbar means Allah is the greatest. My cousins are Muslims. They be wanting me to join the mosque so bad, but they respect what I do. But they are Muslims. Allah Akbar means Allah the greatest. So because you don't understand what's being talked about and you can't pay attention, you know what I'm talking about. You don't have you have a short attention span. You see the picture, but you're not listening. You're not listening to the words or whatever. So you put that up there. You really don't understand it, and it's good that you don't understand it because it's actually Arabic. And if all you understand is English, right? And that means your subconscious mind, not your subconscious mind, but your ego understands English as well. You know what I'm saying? So if you're using other languages that you really don't understand for real, then it should be working for you. That's another way to look at it. God told me. See, that's this is for all you guys. Y'all, I don't even block y'all. I just put y'all on mute so y'all can still listen. Young, however, stressed that projection was both an inevitable and necessary component in our psychological development, as it is one of our primary means, or as it is one of the primary means by which we can gain awareness of elements residing in our unconscious. After projecting an element of our unconscious, the healthy thing to do is to recognize the subjective origin of the projection, right? To withdraw it from the external world and to integrate this element of our personality into conscious awareness. Whenever time, because we all do this, whether it's whether it's quote unquote positive or negative, right? We have to be able to identify it in ourselves. That's the only way. That's the only way. See, you're supposed to be able to, like, when you dealing with the different let's say spirits and gods and goddesses, you're supposed to be able to identify a likeness and a relatability inside of them as well. You know what I'm talking about? It's the same thing with projection, but nine times out of ten, when we projecting negativity. So the subjective part, right? The subjective part, you really can't explain it. You can't explain it, so that's what it. That's what they mean. You really can't you can't go inside of a book and read that. Basically, it's coming out of your subconscious or your unconscious. It's coming out of the unpolarized state, basically, right? So because of that, right, we know it's coming from us. Is what that's all that's saying. So because it's coming from us, we gotta be able to identify the part of us that we're projecting onto the next individual or the next group or the situation, whatever. If we don't do that, we become egotistical. This is what I be trying to say. We don't want to live in your ego. Person that lives in the ego, they know it all. They ain't trying to learn nothing. Um, Let me see. Only by withdrawing our projections and becoming aware of our faults we previously projected onto others, we 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 ever hope to take corrective measures. This process of withdrawal and integration is a difficult task, for it takes courage to face up to one's weaknesses and dark qualities. But while difficult, this task is crucial in the battle of life. For failure to confront one's shadow leaves these elements free to grow in a scope and influence, or in scope and influence, as Young explains. When one tries desperately to be good and wonderful and perfect, then all the more shadow develops a definite will to be black and evil and destructive. People cannot see that, right? They are always striving to be marvelous, and then they discover that the terrible destructive things happen which they cannot understand, and they either deny that such facts have anything to do with them, or if they admit them, they take them for natural afflictions, or they try to minimize them and shift the responsibility elsewhere. The fact is, the fact is that if one tries beyond one's capacity to be perfect, the shadow descends into hell and becomes the devil. Now, I told y'all we living in hell right now. We definitely living in hell. So who you think they talking about when they say becomes the devil? You, those individuals that get on here, right, and have all these good things to say, right? Which is really, it's not really good because what are you? Because you're not saying nothing good to me. And what I mean by that, you got negative things to say towards me. You don't get on there and be like, yeah, man, you should at least try this. You should woo woo. You get on here, man. My God is right. My woo. You don't even know what I'm doing. I don't worship nothing. So the argument is there's no argument. That's the thing. We have no religion over here. I have no religion, but it tells you when you desperately try to be good and wonderful and perfect, right? It gives your shadow all the more time to sit there and develop and become ultimately what it is, destructive. It says destructive, black, and evil. And don't get too caught up on the terms. Y'all know what it means when it says that. You have to have some form of balance inside of your life. This came out in the 1930s, 1934. These are just different notes and visions or whatever. My blunt, man. What am I reading from? Applying Jung's archetypes in the theory of the collective unconscious. This is by Carl Jung. One second. We got that one. Hold on. Wait, what the other one? Oh, here we go. My computer been messing up. It done turned off like that many times today, y'all. And then I got Archetypes Guide. I'm reading from this too. Maybe. Depends on how long we're gonna be on here. I ain't gonna lie to you. So we're gonna talk about the different different archetypes, right? This gonna be the Archetypes Guide. It's saying at the center for applied Jungian studies, our purpose is to reach out to everyone who has a desire to understand themselves and others better, and to improve their relationship with the world around them. Okay, we ain't gonna go. We just gonna go straight in. Individualization. What is individualization? Before I even get involved and even read this or whatever, because people gonna be like, oh man, but it's about humanity. How you gonna do that? How you gonna do that? You have to become an individual. You have to be that individual. You feel what I'm saying? You have to be that individual. Um, the human being, well, I be pushing this so hard, and I think you probably have a better understanding when I say this now. Now that we talking about individualization, I be pushing this so hard when I be talking about eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells. Now, as a quote unquote human being, right, or whatever, right, you consist of both. But the actual human body is supposedly made up of eukaryotic cells. So on the physical scale, we just talk about that. So like, let's say Earth, given for an example, Earth will be a eukaryotic cell, and the prokaryotic cells come from light, basically light bacteria. So let's just say the sun. But on the inside, you have a nucleus on the inside of you, a nucleus, right? Now on the inside of basically where the nucleus is supposed to be on a prokaryotic cell, it's a nucleoid. So it's the same thing, but it's different. What I'm getting at, right? But that represents a singularity, is what I'm saying. The prokaryotic cell. So the higher part of you, the light, right? And then the eukaryotic cell represents, let's just say, the multi-organism, because all multi-organisms have this eukaryotic cells. So that's what they are. But the single cells are the the prokaryotic cells. But these quote unquote cells exist together and in groups or whatever. And if you understand what that is, they are collectives. You see what I'm talking about? It may be chaotic, but they learn and they communicate and they create, they build, they destroy, they do all what they do. They're self-sufficient because as an individual, it learned on its own what to do, but it lives in a community. But you have to be able to learn this as that individual. You know what I'm saying? You have to go so far inside of your, let's say, quote unquote DNA to learn about you as an individual and then go forth back into the community. It won't be this community. Okay. Young believe that we are born inwardly whole, right? That we have a specific nature and calling that is unique. No, that is uniquely our own. I wear glasses, y'all, my bad. But that most of us have lost touch with important parts of ourselves. As a result, we feel that our lives lack meaning or that we are not living authentically. I know some of us feel that way, especially after 2012. I just had a conversation with one of my friends, right? She like, man, no none feel the same. They feel like we're in a simulation. Now listen, I know we be talking about this, but I don't have all my friends ain't just spiritual like that, so I don't be just laying the knowledge on them like that all the time. But she's like, yeah, I just feel like we in a simulation. I'm like, hell yeah, I feel like it just she opened up that door for me to talk about it. I'm like, yeah, man, I feel like ain't nothing been the same since 2012. What the been? But low key, back then in 2012, I was not really aware of self. You feel what I'm saying? So I ain't know nothing. I was in jail actually, in juvenile detention. People was telling me, yeah, the world gonna end. I was scared because I didn't know what to expect. You know what I'm talking about? But since becoming aware of self, And looking back, I'm like, damn, ain't nothing really been the same. Ain't nothing really been the same since then. Not just my personal opinion. Um, let's see, let's see. We experience a vague disconnect and disenchantment, a feeling that there must be more to life. Through listening to the communications from our dreams and imagination, I always be talking about imagination, we can make good contact with and reiterate these different parts of our, or yeah, we integrate these different parts of ourselves. So it says, I'm gonna read that over. Through listening to the communications from our dreams and imagination, we can make contact and reintegrate these different parts of ourselves. It says, this striving towards wholeness, towards finding our true personality, is what Jung called individualization. Individualization is a process of coming to know, giving giving expression to, and harmonizing the various components of our psyche, which is our shadow. Um, once we realize our uniqueness, we can undertake the process of individualization and tap into our true and authentic self. The journey towards individualization begins by making conscious the major archetypes of the psyche, as identified by Jung. It says, hold on, my eyes. It says this lexicon sets out to describe these major archetypes. Since we focus on teaching Jungian psychology as a practical and accessible and real tool for personal transformation. Everything, all is supposed to be practical, for real, for real. It's supposed to just be like as a matter of factly, because it's in your innate nature. Shit in you already. Okay. Give me a second. Give me a second. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Yup. The imaginal realm. I got, man, my eyes. My eyes getting bad. What's going on here? My eyes always been bad, for real, for real. I lost my glasses. Doing goofy shit. Okay, before we get to the specifics of the exercises included in this lexicon, let me say something briefly about what we are doing when we do these exercises. These exercises are done in the realm of imagination or the imaginal realm, right? The realm of the imagination is the central to, hold on, psychoanalysis, right? The Jungian psychology in particular, right? Remember I told y'all he created the psychoanalysis basically, right? Or the analytical psychology, whatever. It is through the faculty of the imagination that we can access unconscious content, attitudes, ideologies, and orientations that are typically hidden from our consciousness. Beyond the obvious psychoanalytic value, the directed imagination is the road to creativity, right? We must differentiate between directed or primary imagination and mere fantasy. In these exercises, such as these, it is a focused application of our directed imagination. I hope y'all getting this. I hope y'all getting it. They're not just saying no they ain't just saying no bullshit. Remember, I told y'all a long time ago what your imagination was. Now this is somebody else that was read that's his name, Carl Jung. This was like way before everybody on here that was born. Okay, the power to imagine things, that have not actually been experienced the power to imagine things that have not actually been experienced has, on the other hand, commonly been regarded as a key aspect of creativity and intelligent thought. On the other hand, this power of imagination has equally commonly been regarded as rather a passive and mechanical capacity to arrange and order the images of thought arising out of the memory, right? There is a wide distinction between the different forms of imagination. Coleridge or Coleridge, I don't know if I said it. Coleridge named the one extreme primary imagination, and the other he called fancy, from the word fancy. Although all aspects of imagination are important in depth psychology, directed, primary, associative, revere, or fantasy, we concern ourselves here with the directed, or in Carl Jung's active terms, just imagination or active imagination. What that's saying is basically, it's like, okay, you not just, how you just daydream and you just have pictures and your memories in your head. No, you actively doing this basically. I think that's just self-explanatory. I feel like that's self-explanatory. You're not you're not just letting it happen to yourself. Remember, I say all of this is natural, but you want to be in control of it. It's like what he just said. It's an exercise. So that was just an exercise. These are the archetypes. Now, what are archetypes? I always be saying archetypes. What are archetypes? Archetypes, right? Archetypes are primordial images and symbols found in the collective unconscious. Each archetype has a unique set of meanings, impulses, and character traits. For example, the archetype images of the hero, the child, or of the mother. Jung's archetypes include, but are not limited to, human characters, animal archetypes such as the serpent and the lion, as well as objects which function as archetypes like gold, the castle, or the forest. Those are archetypes as well. Archetypes are inherited and born potentials. They are patterns of thoughts and emotions which provide us with a set of tools, skills, and capabilities, lessons, opportunities, and potentials for this lifetime. They form the foundation upon which each individual builds his own experience of life, coloring them with his unique culture, personality, and life events. Since they are unconscious, right? They cannot be known or experienced in themselves, and can only be known indirectly through their effects, their manifestations, and images and symbols, and by examining behavior, images. Let me see. Art stories, myths, or dreams, right? So that's what archetypes are. The topic of discussion is Carl Jung and archetypes, and how they correlate to your mind, your true self, your subconscious, what I say, or the unconscious, what Carl Jung says. Knowing the individual archetypal patterns as they at day no at play. Hold on. Knowing the individual archetypal patterns at play in our lives can provide us with insight into a way in which we operate in the world. Help us examine the reoccurring patterns playing out in our lives and our dreams. Gives us insight into the key challenges and choices that each of our archetypal patterns bring into our lives. Gives us insight into areas of our lives in which we feel we're stuck. Gives us insight in our relationships with others. Enables us to make more conscious and insightful choices. Jung identified 5 main archetypes that constitute the human psyche. These are the persona, ego, the shadow, the anima, the animus, and the self. So, to further answer your question, we're just talking about the mind, basically. We're talking about the mind. Um, it's a whole lot of videos that everybody see, right? I, you be on TikTok all day, so I know you see it. So a person gonna get up here and tell you like, Joe, you really powerful, you this, you that, you this, and you definitely are. But 9 times out of 10, you've been living your life a way that your power you've been using your power against you first and foremost. Like ain't nobody really out to get you like that because the power is in the mind. So whatever you believe and whatever you deem is, it tends to be your reality. So me explaining this gives you, it's telling you right now, it's giving you keys on how to access your mind and basically take full control over that. We looking at um great things like, let's just call it what it is, you because that's what y'all call it. We looking at these supernatural abilities, right? Which is just natural inside of us. It's not really supernatural, it's natural inside of us, whatever. You just have to become aware of it. You know what I'm saying? But we've been dealing with a world that, let's say we can see with our physical eyes or whatever, you know what I'm saying, which is a matrix. That's not the real world. The real world is inside of you. What the earth that you see, what this is made out of, you are made out of, right? As above, so below. This whole thing is a projection from, let's just say, your dreams or in your subconscious or your unconscious, the collective unconscious. But everybody don't look at it like this. Everybody's not going to look at it like this. More people look at it differently as far as it is real, and this is just life is just what it is, and we just here. You know what I'm talking about? More people look like that, so the reality is structured towards that. So persona. The word persona comes from the large carved mask worn by Greek actors as they perform different audiences and means to sound through. It means to sound through, right? That's what persona means. It's a mask, but it means to sound through. So if you look up the definition, that's definitely what it means. I looked that up a long time ago, and it said a person in the mask play, a mask in a person's play, or whatever. Um, besides identifying the characters in the play, these masks served as primitive megaphones, right, which carried the voices of the actors on the top of the branches and the amplifiers. The amplifiers. In the same way our persona facilitates communication between ourselves and the world, serving as a bridge between our ego and the external world. The persona is our public personality, right? The face we show the world. The persona is the mask which through the persona is the mask through which we get to know each other and interact with each other. The persona is a compromise between what society expects of us and our inner in our own inner personal identity. This is what the persona is. Many of us are inclined to identify ourselves with our inner world, or or at the very least with our private selves. The persona is seen as a necessary evil, right? A mask that needs to be worn for the world out there. Okay? It is this It is this negativity towards the persona that is not authentic, that cast in a poor light. Yet it is the Yet it is the persona that is the true carrier of our essential being in the world. It is through the persona that the world comes to know us, not through our inner world. So what that means? That means what you show everybody. If okay, let me just say this. However I am on camera right now, right? If I'm not like this on camera, I'm go off camera, which I am. I'm always talking about this. I'm always sounding like this. I'm damn near be more goofier. You feel what I'm talking about? But this just me. Okay, so that individual, right? They saying you get to know that individual when you using that individual. You like society gets to know that and not know your inner world. Okay? All the face that you show into society. Not what's going on in your household and who you are as a private person or whatever. The face that you show in society, that's how society gets to know you. Not through what's going on in the house or whatever and how you personally deem life or whatever and all that stuff. What they're saying is that that side of yourself, the persona is a necessary evil. That's they call it evil. They say it is a mask. That's the definition. But they say it is a mask and it is to be worn, you feel what I'm saying, out in the world basically. So it's not authentic. In dreams, myths, and stories, the persona is often symbolized by what we are wearing, our clothing, uniform, animal skins, or other coverings, or by our own skin, our nakedness, right? So, what does our persona look like, right? Is it serving you or hindering you? Hold on, let me put this up. My water just go. Application for the persona. What does your coffee? Well, what what does your coffee shop look like? This is another exercise. Imagine a scenario where you are given a brief where you are given a brief to establish and run a coffee shop. The parameters are fairly generous. You have unlimited budget time or unlimited budget time and resources. Um, you can open the shop anywhere in the world. While it's making the shop profitable, zoom this in, can be a priority. It need not be. That is to say, profitability is permissionable, but not necessary essential concern. Okay, remember this is something that you imagine. In constructing your coffee, or in constructing your coffee shop, these are the parameters that you should focus on, as well as any other that occur to you: location, operating hours, the look and feel of the shop, and exterior and interior, shop fittings, layout, colors, and other characteristics. The ambience and atmosphere you would create, your menu, particular areas of focus, your clientele, where and what you would be doing in your shop, any other areas or perimeters that occur to you. All right. Assuming that you are doing this exercise on your own, we suggest that you take the time to write out the answers to these questions. If you are doing the exercise with the companion, you can simply just verbalize the answers. Okay, it says whichever way you do the exercise, the act of concerning, the act of concept concept. What the fuck does that say? Oh, concretizing. I don't even know what that means. Concretizing the answer, right? Through some medium is important and increases the value you will get from engaging in the act in the exercise. Now do the exercise, right? Read any further or whatever. Hold on. The coffee shop is a symbol of your persona, right? It it expresses an imaginal form of a metaphor of who you are in the world. That's why they told you to do all of that stuff. Like, imagine all that stuff and be, you know what I'm saying, critique that basically. It says what face or mask you show to the world, what your social and public values are, right? Who you wish to attract to yourself. So you see what it was doing, where it was asking you all the questions, right? How do you see yourself? Okay? How do you see yourself? Like, personally, you know what I'm saying? Take a step out, and then how do you imagine your personal self? Remember, I told you most of us identify with, you know what I'm saying, our ego, or we can just say our persona. So the outside surface self, most of us identify with that. So, how do you identify with that? Like, as far as like, how do you see yourself? Um, what are you putting out there to attract those people, and more broadly your value proposition, right? What what do you offer the world basically? And analyzing your own coffee shop, these are the type of questions you might ask yourself basically. And it's basically the same thing. Even if even if you didn't, or even if you not, you know what I'm talking about, not doing, I think it's a nice little exercise. You sit down, you imagine, like they said, the coffee shop is decent, but I don't drink coffee. But you imagine a coffee shop or whatever, what it would look like, everything. You feel what I'm saying? You got the ability to do everything because mentally, you do. You know what I'm saying? But you're not focusing on profit. They just said that. I like how they did that. You're not focusing on the money. You're not focusing on really something that will hold you down or whatever. But you got unlimited everything. And then when you set that out, what kind of people do you want to be there? Where is it gonna be? You feel what I'm talking about? What kind of clientele? What kind of what do you call that? Workers and all of that stuff or whatever, right? All of that stuff reflects you on the outside, right? 9 times out of 10, do any one of them individuals, because a lot of them be successful, but do any one of them individuals do it be something personal, like like their life? Do it reflect them on a personal level? Talking about from within. No, a lot of times you trying to please the outside world. That's not what it's about. You supposed to be pleasing yourself. Really, I ain't gonna lie to you. And listen, y'all, give me a second. I'm finna I'll be back. I gotta put this on pause for a second. Hold on, let me see what that say. I gotta handle some business, man. I'm still handling some things. Next thing we're gonna talk about though is the ego. Though we going down, we reading this archetypes guide. It's a PDF. I don't know who it's by. I could tell you when I hold on, let me see. Oh, just it's just Carl Young. I don't think it's like no specific like any other what's called. This is really Carl Young's information. If you know, you know. I'm breaking down this thing right now. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna get right back to it, y'all. You feel me? But you know, this will be back up on YouTube. Well, not back, but it'll be up on YouTube. Definitely the Golden Mendez. The Ram, the Atum. Yes. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And with this goat, the Baphomet, for me, it represents duality. You know what I'm talking about? A positive and a negative spark. So when I wanna protect myself from something, you know, I seal it. You know, anytime you're doing some form of a magic or anything like that, you're supposed to seal it. They say seal it with 7 seals. Okay, cool. But we forget, we forget that everything has to have, because everything comes like this, with a negative and a positive spark. You know what I'm talking about? So a positive and negative aspect of it, and that's what that represents. And I'm starting to realize that it works. Yeah, yeah. That's what the masculine and the feminine is. It's duality, but it's the ultimate duality. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're looking at the statue, it got everything in there. So it's not only duality. It rises yourself up when you it's almost like you rising yourself up to the highest point and you becoming one. Like they say, you becoming one with, let's just say, the divine. Okay, but in doing all of this or whatever, right? You still one and you still possessing both energies. That's more of an androgyny. You know what I'm talking about? That's why they be like sex is in the mind, because you got a pineal gland and a pituitary gland. You know what I'm saying? But the real duality, well, when it splits, whatever, I guess, let's say, it starts to split. It starts to split out when we start to look at ourselves outwardly. You know, now I'm a male, obviously, and then a woman to be a woman, obviously. You feel what I'm talking about? But when we go inside of ourselves and raise ourselves up, we just is in reality. What did where did you get entity from? Levi, who created the Baphomet and is strictly created to represent duality, nothing else. Um, that's fine. But as an occultist, right? As an occultist, when you look up the Baphomet, right? What does it have? It is a goat representing the goat of Mendez, which has something completely different to do with what Baphomet is in actuality. You know what I'm saying? Because the goat of Mendez is just something that they call it. It's an actual different name. Now, this goat is doing an Egyptian pose, as above, so below, as within, so without, sitting on earth, right? Now, I know it's dealing with the chakras because it has the caduceus on it, with both the masculine and feminine energies rising up, those serpentine energies rising up. The staff, right? The staff representing what? Your spinal column or Jacob's ladder, 33 vertebrae, going all the way up, really to the head, crown chakra. You know what I'm saying? Now the Baphomet is an upside down star, but on the Baphomet, the golden Mendez, the statue. I'm pointing this way because I'm looking at it. The statue, the 5 pointed star is upward, representing illumination in the pineal gland, and fire going outside the head, representing cosmic illumination, being one. Also, the wings going back with the caduceus. And then it has the breast representing duality as well. You feel what I'm saying? It don't sometimes it just be one breast and one male breast. And so this earth is representing the root chakra. It's sitting on the root chakra. It only shows you the little, what do you call that? The abdomen area. So this is where the sacral and the solar plexus will be, right? It don't show you the heart chakra, but it's there because you see the pineal gland and the crown chakra and all of that rising up out of there. So I say it's the ultimate duality. I'm not talking about what Elphus Levi said because I'm not a religious person. I'm an occultist. An occultist looks at the hidden aspects of what it is. I don't know what he did and what he what he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? But I know where it came from. It's an ancient Egyptian term, and it still represents duality. Oh, we cannot forget about the horns. Anything that has horns represents duality. Anything. Also, if we went to H.P. Lovecraft, Shub Niggurath, the goat of 1,000 young, that represents your crown chakra. Because if we go to the Hindu meaning of the chakras, right? When you get to the crown chakra, it has 1,000 lotus petals in it. All this is just symbolism, and it's my goal to figure out what it is, not to be religious with it. That's cool. We could be an occultist, but we're not talking about him. And this lecture isn't even about that. It's actually about the mind. We'll talk about the ego in a second. I'm just rolling up my blunt, for real, for real. But yeah. Let me see. Oh, you one of those. You one of those, man. You slide. Get out of here, man. For real, man. This video is for you, actually. It's for the projectors. What is your dealing with Baphomet? How does it work for you, and how do you know what I'm saying? That'd be my question. People be so quick to tell you what they know, right? Without stopping and just listening. That's it. I utilize this on a day-to-day basis. Of course, I'm gonna know what this is. I'm gonna know pretty much a lot about everything about it. I'm I don't know what kind of I'll tell you occultist for lack of better words, because I don't want to say metaphysician, because a metaphysician is the same thing, but an occultist is gonna do something different. We real live spiritualists. I just put it like that. But that's an occultist. That's in a metaphysician. That's the same thing. What that mean? What that mean? We gon' go within. We gon' go within ourselves, right? And determine this be real based upon the experience that we have. Now, it may be subjective to the other individual, right? It may be subjective to the other individual, but that's not the bother. The bother is that everybody think that with this information, we trying to be collective. You will be collective in the quantum reality. You will not be collective in this reality. You see what happened when every single time we try to do that. Y'all saw what just happened? That's gonna continue to happen. And continue to happen and continue to happen and continue to happen. You feel me? This is what I'm talking about, right now. We talking about Elvis Levi. Don't nobody care about Elvis Levi. Elvis Levi was a regular guy. But that's not what we talking about. I put that up there because of what it represents for me. I know the definition. I know the many different meanings of where it comes from, right? But the thing is, you're supposed to be able to look at that, break all that down or whatever, and see how it can work for you, right? So right now, I'm using it for something specific, okay? Understanding that it is duality because nothing works without it. Nothing works without duality. You have to have positive and negative. You have to have positive and negative. Nothing works without that. So ultimately, what I was saying was this right here. If an individual come up here, it don't matter if you think I'm evil or nothing, and you projecting, um, when you feel like you projecting positivity onto me, right? I'm blocking that with this. You feel what I'm talking about? I block it out with that. Something that represents both positive and negative aspects of life. You know what I'm saying? Plus the Kundalini. It ain't nothing but symbolism, but your ego will not allow that to, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Hold your horses. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We're talking about right now, we just got done talking about the persona. We're finna talk about the ego, the shadow, the anima slash animus, and the self. We're talking about the mind, the subconscious mind slash the unconscious mind, and how it correlates with you in your life, basically. And then we got Baphomet up there for that extra energy. I said that's all. The ego is the center of consciousness, right? The bearer of our personality and our concept of ourselves. It distinguishes us from others and gives us our sense of identity, our I, right? This is the I in us. The ego stands out as the junction between our inner and our outer worlds, performing the function of perceiving meaning, perceiving meaning and assessing value. It says, let me read this over for you. The ego stands out at the junction between our inner and outer worlds, performing the function of receiving meaning and assessing value. The ego provides a sense of consistency. Hold on, I wear glasses. The ego provides a sense of consistency and direction in our conscious lives and plays an important part in the development of a healthy psyche. Without the ego, right, there is no driver of the psyche. In dreams, myths, and stories, right, the ego is symbolized by the hero. It sounds like the ego is a good thing, don't it? It's not. That's where most people at. I'm trying to tell you, nothing is good or bad, man. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Um, in Jungian psychology, the ego is strengthened through introspection and the integration of the archetypes. Mm, mm. Hold on, cause I gotta put my stuff up. I gotta wear glasses. Okay, the shadow represents unknown or little known, right? Characteristics of the ego. The shadow is the inferior being in us all. What the fuck does that mean? Oh, it wants us to do all the things that it wants us to do all the things that we do not allow ourselves to do. It wants us to do all the things that we do not allow that we do not allow ourselves to do, and that we don't want to be, right? It is our uncivilized desires and emotions, our dark side, right? Those aspects of ourselves that exist, but which we do not acknowledge, or with which we do not identify. It is the unconscious aspect of our personality, right? Usually hidden and repressed. It is it is all we are ashamed of, right? Such as egotism, laziness, selfishness, greed, envy, anger, rage. Whenever we see as evil, inferior, or no, whatever we see as evil, inferior, or unacceptable, and deny in ourselves or within ourselves becomes a part of our shadow. It don't really matter what it is. It don't matter what it is. You could have denied yourself, man, eating your favorite foods or whatever. Now that becomes a part of your shadow. You get what I'm talking about? But just saying, like, man, I'm not gonna do this or I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. That's egotistical. So that's a form of utilizing the ego. So why I just say all this good stuff about your ego? That's the that's how they play a big part with your ego. Man, hold on, Joe. It's uneven. Hold on. Y'all know how y'all blunt be messing up. I gotta fix my thing, Joe. Disregarding our shadow or being significantly arrogant to believe we don't have one is is not only a naive but dangerous to ourselves and others. As long as the shadow remains unconscious and unrecognized, it is at the most dangerous. It is at its most dangerous. Once we make the unconscious shadow conscious, then we can work with it. Um, we can work with it, we can contain it, and even possibly transform it. It is consciousness, right? Which gives us a choice. Nothing can be transformed while it remains unconscious. Um, so while it can be an overstatement to say that making the shadow conscious is a cure all, it is far better. It is far better than when it remains unconscious. This act of making the shadow conscious is a major part of the journey. Y'all, I don't think y'all understand how important this is. I don't think you understand how important this is. See, most people, we're gonna go back to the ego for a second. Most people identify with their ego, and that's cool. Okay, watch this. The ego is the center of consciousness. I. Okay? It's the barrier of our personality and our concepts, right? Right? Our concepts of what? Of ourselves. But this is what I'm getting at. All of our characteristics, the personality traits, the archetypes, and all that stuff that's inside of ourselves or whatever, right? Is stored in our conscious mind. Our persona is what is how we project it, but the barrier of it, right, is your ego. The barrier of it is the ego. Shit. But look, it says it distinguishes us from others and gives us our own sense of identity, our I. We be always talking about this collectiveness, but this gives you your own sense of identity. But your ego is developed. Your ego is developed when you're a child. You feel what I'm talking about? So the ego stands out at a junction between our inner and outer worlds, performing the function of perceiving meaning and assessing value. The ego provides a sense of consistency and direction in our conscious lives and plays an important part in the development of a healthy psyche. That's why, like I said, when you was a child, don't touch that fire, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. You know what I'm talking about? It says in your dreams the ego is symbolized by the hero. Because the ego is always trying to save you, but in actuality it's trying to save itself. Because, hold on, it distinguishes us, this is what it said, it distinguishes us from others and gives us our own sense of the identity, our I. And anytime you say, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, it's egotistical of you. Because first and foremost, the true part of you is everything. I am that I am, not for nothing. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm not just one thing, I'm not just this, I'm not just, this is why I say that's egotistical. I. The true I is the I that's within, the first I, or what we call the third eye. You know what I'm talking about? But we don't reference it like that. You know what I mean? So going back to the shadow part, this is why I say you have to understand what the shadow is. It says the shadow represents unknown or little known characteristics of the ego, right? The shadow is the inferior being in us all. It said it wants to do all the things that we do, or it wants to do all the things that we do not allow ourselves to do, and it wants us to be what we don't want to be. It is our uncivilized desires and emotions, our dark side, those aspects of us that exist, but which we do not acknowledge or with which we do not identify. It is the unconscious aspect of our personality, usually hidden and repressed. It it is all we are ashamed of, such as egotism, laziness, lustfulness, selfishness, greed, envy, anger, rage. Whatever we see as evil, inferior, or unacceptable and deny within ourselves become a part of our shadow. Why is all that important? Because I'm not even going to go through the whole trying to explain that or whatever, but you already know that what society told you what not to do and all this stuff or whatever. We can go through a whole list and tell you how it can have a positive aspect on you, right? But if I told you that this was evil, whatever, and you felt like, man, I want to do this or whatever, and I was like, nah, that's evil, or society or whatever, like they do all the time or whatever, it becomes a part of your shadow. That's what I'm getting at. That's what they're saying or whatever. So we say do the shadow work or whatever. Look inside yourself and find the quote unquote negative influences that's been projected into you, integrated into you by society. You know what I'm saying? And that, but when I mean by society, I mean everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to transform yourself. It said disregarding our shadow or being sufficiently arrogant to believe we don't have one is not only naive but dangerous for ourselves and others. As long as the shadow remains unconscious and unrecognized, it is at its most dangerous. Once we make the conscious shadow, or once we make the unconscious shadow conscious, then we can work with it, contain it, and possibly even transform it. It is consciousness. It is consciousness which gives us choice, right? Nothing can be transformed while it remains conscious, or while it remains unconscious. Um, so while it would be an overstatement to say that making the shadow conscious is a cure all, it is far better than when it remains unconscious. This act of making the shadow conscious is a major part of the journey, right? And we can go to the dreams now. It's a major part first because it's literally knowing yourself. So the book not telling you what's evil. Ain't nothing evil. Ain't nothing good, nothing bad or whatever, but what works for you. What works for you, somebody could have told you or programmed you when you was a child that was not the right thing to do. You feel me? Now we've already come to that conclusion already. So the thing is, how do we project ourselves to the world? That's what they was talking about with the persona. You know what I'm saying? How you project yourself to the world? Is it by way of what's going on from within, or by way of what you feel like society expects of you? You know what I'm saying? That's all that means. And that's not what you should be worried about. You should be worried about how you feel and what's going on inside of you. Because it can be something that's inside of you, whatever, that need not be there. So you have to recognize it, acknowledge it, or whatever, and do what you do. Like I said, contain it and transform it, or whatever. Because nothing never really dies. It's all energy. You know what I'm saying? Thought forms. It's the same thing. Energy. Um. What does it say? It says, "How can we recognize the shadow operating in our lives? Dreams are probably the most well-known and best route to the shadow." This is why I always say tap into the dreams, because the dream is connected to our subconscious. But in here, remember, they call it the unconscious. To quote Freud, Sigmund Freud, dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. It is in our dreams that we encounter the many unsavory aspects and shadowy characters that in waking life we may shy away from. Ooh. We learn from depth psychology that all dynamics that all of the dynamics are acted out in our dreams are aspects of ourselves. So anytime we have a dream, you know, that what they're saying basically is all of that, what you see, what you experience, aspects of yourself. It's the same thing as like the whole Lovecraft country and H.P. Lovecraft. I don't know if you guys know or familiar with H.P. Lovecraft, but when anybody talking about H.P. Lovecraft, well, if you look up H.P. Lovecraft books, like I got his book. I got the complete works. All it is just different stories, right? But these different stories are literally dreams, like reoccurring dreams that he had. And if anytime you have reoccurring dreams, it's literally like a message. So what he did was write them down. And everybody that made so many different Lovecraft or Cthulhu mythos or whatever, because his information is public information or whatever, so anybody can write on it or whatever. But ultimately, it comes from the dreams or whatever. He was identifying himself with them. Like, okay, one of the characters is neat. Like one of the stories is Nila Hotep. Nila Hotep, and then Shub Niggurath and all of them or whatever. Those are actual like beings or whatever. Supposedly, I just say that was already in mythology. And when I say mythology, when you looking up anybody's culture, you want to look up the mythology, because mythos, it means sacred, and mythology just means study. So this is a sacred study. They utilize this story or the sacred study to explain their everything or whatever. And then now we have religion. They didn't have religion back in the day. So anytime you want to study anybody or whatever, you study the mythology, and you can always look at it 30 years, 10 years down the line or whatever, and get something else or whatever. And if you're trying to look at it from a eschatologist standpoint, which means end time events or whatever, you will be able to be in alignment with what's actually going on in society at that time, and whatever time it is. If you're able to apply that to your life, you don't have to just apply it. You don't have to apply it to quote unquote the life outside of you. Only apply it to the life that was going on inside of you, and truly be able to see what's going on. You know what I'm talking about? Because that what you see may not be that what you see. You feel what I'm saying? It could just be what they want you to see, you know? Which is funny to me. Because, like, we all on iPhones, right? All of us got iPhones right now. Or not even, because, like, the Android is just becoming the same thing, is what I'm saying. The whole 5G network, even though some of us feel like it's not real. But this is what I'm getting at. It's videos, right? The whole Mandela effect. You would see something like people making those videos with the 4G phones, and you're still not the 4G. Well, yeah, I think it's 4G, and you're able to see like the quote unquote defects in the reality or whatever. And I'm like, man, is that a video? Like, are they just making it up? It's because there's a ton of different videos. But then I started to think, All these phone companies, they're like they be offering. I give you a new phone. I give you this new phone if you got an old phone, if you got this phone or older or whatever. Why is it that important? Why is it that important? Is the old phones connected to something else that the new phones are not connected to inside of this system or whatever that will make you give you the ability to see something throughout this inside of this world or whatever? I don't know, because in those phones it make it look like you can't. It make it look like the world is like different, not like post-apocalyptic, but some things just be off basically. And I think it's interesting, and I think that them asking you for your for those phones is connected. Man, it's cold in here. Y'all give me a second. I gotta close this vent. I'm freezing. All right. Okay, it says in our dream state, the conscious sensor is sidestepped and we see directly into the unconscious, right? Once we learn to intercept and understand our dreams, we gain a direct line of sight on our shadows. It says in dreams, myths, and stories, right? The shadow is often symbolized by an inferior figure, such as a tramp, beggar, servant, drug addict, pervert, thief, gypsy, prostitute, or by something dark and threatening like a zombie. Them things, so but they basically these are things to just look out for in your dreams. You know what I'm saying? And this is the shadow. So I don't even want to tell y'all because y'all gonna laugh at me. I've seen my shadow. I seen it, man, in a dream. You know what I'm saying? Definitely was running from it. But the thing is, right? I was conscious, so I was like, as I was running, I was like, bro, you got to turn around. And when I turned around, it wasn't like consciously I'm saying this, but I was running. You know, I'm talking about my dream. So, but right now I'm saying this to y'all. Like it wasn't really, you know what I'm saying? It really wasn't scary, but I understand though, because it was just similar. I understand why my shadow appeared to me like that. You feel what I'm talking about? Not even gonna tell y'all what it is because it don't even matter. Y'all gonna laugh. Okay, we just got done talking about the dreams. Now we're talking about projection. Frequently, if not always, those characteristics and others that we most harbor our own repressed. Hold on. Give me a second. Frequently, if not always, those characteristics and others that we most at harbor our own repressed and unrecognized selves. It is a tremendous burden to carry our own load and a great relief to unburden ourselves by placing this load onto the nearest person. Oh, so basically I said all of the stuff that you say you don't like, all of the stuff that they were saying with the shadow, the evil stuff and all that stuff that becomes our shadow or whatever. Um, we carry that around. You know what I'm saying? And it's heavy. It weighs heavy on our mental and all that stuff, and then it can weigh heavy as far as trickle down into our physical life. But right here, it's telling us that while it's tremendous to carry that, you feel what I'm talking about, we can find relief in placing it onto other people. You know what I'm saying? They said what we fear, loathe, despise, crave, hate, or covet in the other is often an unacknowledged aspect of ourselves, right? Regardless, you know what I'm saying? A person can be. This is why I put this up here. So, a per, yeah, I was moving hella slow, but a person. This is why I put this up here, right? And a person can just be like, they can, let's just say, let me see, uh, fear, fear. They can just have fear and not understand or whatever, right? And they just get to projecting their fears onto an individual. Now, I don't have that fear. Whatever it is, I'm not at fear. This is up here. It's up here. It's up here to show something specific. And they're gonna get up here and they do what they do. But this is why they do it, because they haven't acknowledged something inside of themselves. Now, the acknowledge, because it can be many different things. Now, like I said, I got this up here. They just haven't acknowledged what it is. You know what I'm saying? And what do I mean by that? Not what somebody else told you. So what did I say when I said it? I say it represents duality. It was just somebody up here saying, well, it represents duality. Like I said, I just said it represents duality, but I get to explain it what my understanding on it or whatever. He get to explain some whole other stuff. Well, Elvis Levi created this and this. I don't care about none of that. I understand all of that. You feel what I'm talking about? I understand it. I've read it. I got books on it, all type of stuff. That's cool, but ultimately it just represents duality to me. You know what I'm saying? And I got it up here for a reason. Type. It ain't about it ain't about nothing else. Now the guy I was going back and forth with, he acknowledged something. This is why he wasn't going, you know what I'm saying? Like not going back there, but this is why he wasn't one of them type of individuals. Definitely got him up out of here though. Parapraxis. I don't know what parapraxis is. Parapraxis was an early discovery of Sigmund Freud's. I think his name is Sigmund Freud. Okay. He coined this term in reference to things which we do accidentally or despite ourselves. This could be addressing a person incorrectly, saying an inappropriate thing, or a host of other things. Small unintentional things, right? Small unintentional things we do every day. Parapraxis. From the trivial, like forgetting someone's name, or not so trivial, like crashing the car. Wow. Okay. The shadow is not all bad. It also contains unacknowledged talents. These are talents which for whatever reason have not seen the light of day in our lives, but which can not only exist but contain a huge amount of and potential, libido and potential. Authenticity, real happiness, and wholeness can only be served by the integration and accommodation of our unconscious shadow. So look inside of yourself, basically is what that's saying. Look inside of yourself, look inside of your mind. And then everybody be saying this, okay, identify what it is you deem personally as quote unquote bad for you, not for the world and period, for you. It's not about morals. It's about how you feel personally and how it works for you. Look inside of yourself like that. And then, right, because you probably ain't gonna be able to do it right now until you do something like this or whatever. After you do that, you may find a talent of some sort or whatever. You know, somebody going there and they find it. You have to go through a holocaust, a physical holocaust. That's what you got to go through. Let's just say that, a mental holocaust. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we're gonna do a little. We're gonna. Is we? Let me see. Let me see. Don't nobody want to do this. Don't nobody want to do this. This is giving a little application for the shadow, drawing your demon out. Y'all want to do this? It's telling y'all basically to draw your demons. You know what I'm saying? What it says. How big is your demon? I would tell you to look inside of yourself. Why it tells you to draw, I would tell you to go inside of your mind and actually see they ain't trying to do this like this. This is what I meant when I said I was an occultist earlier. Dude talking about some Elvis Levi was an occultist. Unless Elvis Levi was going inside himself and doing this, you know what I'm talking about? I ain't trying to hear it. H.P. Lovecraft was in the call to me. Those was dreams. Those was channels that he had. Anywho, it's telling you how big is your demon. Like, draw it up. So create this in your mind. But it's telling you to draw it. But I'm telling you, it'd be better if you experience it like this, right? What makes the demon come out? What does the demon look like? What does the demon withdraw from you? Why do you have this demon? You know what I'm saying? Does that demon have a weakness to exploit? Does it have a strength? What is the payoff of having this demon? What is your, what is in your, what is in your body? What does it do to you? Where is it in your body? What does it do to you? Where's its physical attributes? It's asking you to identify, like take your shadow or what you see in your dreams, basically. You know what I'm talking about? Draw it up. I ain't gonna tell y'all like I said what I saw, but yeah, draw that up. But I'm gonna say this: go inside your mind and try to experience it on a meditative aspect, and put these attributes on it, basically. You know what I'm talking about? Reflect your answers, and see and see if you can reimagine this demon by changing one of its attributes. So basically, right, your shadow, what's haunting you. We don't even know we be having stuff that's haunting us. No, our shadow is not a bad thing, but it can be a bad thing if society made it that way for us. So we go inside of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Some of us probably haven't seen this, are not aware of this. When you run into your dreams, just turn around. That's how I was able to see my demon. You know what I'm talking about, on my quote unquote shadow. I definitely saw my shadow. I turned around, I'm like, oh, and I got up out of there. You feel me? It touched me and everything. I ain't gonna lie to you, but that's besides the point. So draw it, right? That's what they say. Draw it and put all those attributes on it, and then reflect on that and reimagine it. But we can just skip that and just go straight into the astral realm and create this creature or whatever, you feel what I'm saying? Because you can remember it, have this experience again or whatever, and see if you can transform this. This is what's going on. They doing like this for children. This is Carl Jung, actually, but you know what I'm saying? That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Now we talking about the anima and the animus. We didn't even get to the other book yet. Okay, Jung thought that the psyche was inherently an androgynous entity. See, he wasn't even here to understand or even get this aspect. But this is what I was getting at. So, still, the same thing. Because pineal gland, the pituitary gland, in the mind. You feel I'm talking about androgyny. Okay, it says an androgynous entity, regardless of the physical gender, containing and embracing both the feminine and masculine. Ooh, we get somewhere now. And a woman, her contrasexuality is masculine and governs her rational thinking or rational thinking function. We call this the animus. So this is inside the women. Um, and men, well, in a man, his contrasexuality is feminine and governs his irrational feeling functioning. And it's called the animal. So guys, this is what we got. You feel me? When we talk about the role of the qualities of the animal and animus, we are talking about the following qualities. Let's see what the qualities are. Our ability to relate as a whole, as whole human beings to the world and other people, right? In order for the relatedness to have an equal measure of heart and mind, and hold on, give me a second. In order for the relatedness to have an equal measure of heart and mind, the psyche relies on contrasexuality to compensate to compensate for the natural one-sidedness of the personality. So this they just saying this is why we have that, basically. Um, if you was wondering, because I definitely was wondering too when I first was reading this, when they talking about the animal and the animation or whatever, animation, it acts as animation or as a spirit. The anima or animus plays a significant role in discovering how we think and feel about our lives in the innermost chamber of our hearts. It's crazy though, right? It's crazy because some individuals they like to look at the what do you call that? They look at the anima and the animus as if you just only have like just one or whatever. But Carl Jung said you have both. And when they said this about the hearts, it say they play a significant role in determining how we feel and think about our lives in the innermost chamber of our hearts. The depiction that they have of a heart is two hearts. We can look at both halves of that as the anima and the animus. You know what I'm talking about? Because two hearts, like how we know the heart to be, would just be two people coming together, loving each other, symbolizing the whole heart. But a whole heart, in actuality, you know what your heart look like for real, for real. But they really talking about something symbolic, something metaphysical. They've been doing that this entire time. Um, it says it is not what we say, right, but the spirit we bring to the world, what we feel inside, what we feel inside ourselves, and that others become aware of when they interact with us. The archetype of the anima animus forms a bridge between our personal unconscious, our subconscious, and what Jung refers to as the collective unconscious. The anima animus is the image making is the image making capacity which we use to draw inspirational, creative, and intuitive images from the inner world. Strictly speaking, from the transpersonal inner world. So that means we not talking about no. We ain't talking about when we talking about the animal and the animals. We not talking about the quote unquote astral plane. You know, not like that. We talking about what's literally going on inside of self, right? That's what we talking about. You got to be up on the vibrations to really experience that. Um, when the animus is integrated in a healthy female psyche, it would typically imbue the following qualities: good rational and logical ability, ability for clear non-attached thought, ability to construct by sustained effort and application, um, a strong center, uh, good external strength in the person, a bridge to knowledge, and creative thought, problem solving. Okay, when the animus is displaced or overwhelms the female, it can exhibit some of the following symptoms: know-it-all behavior, bullying, sadism, controlling, loud, inability to effectively and meaningfully relate. The anima naturally is organized. Oh no, is naturally. The anima naturally is originally based on the boy's image of his mother, and this later evolves with this relatedness to more mature romantic relationships. The anima the anima is generally related to the singular both in the inner and outer worlds, right? The inner worlds, a man generally projects his anima onto my leg, falling asleep. Hold on. I'm trying to read. I'm steady trying to read. My leg fell asleep. Hold on. Shit. I'm back. The anima is generally related to the singular both that in the that the singular both in the inner and outer worlds. In other words, a man will generally project his anima onto only a single woman at one time. Hold on. At one time, whereas a woman will frequently have more than one animus projection in her life. Dang. Hold on, because I read it right, but I'm saying when my leg just fell asleep, I literally didn't see none of that. That's good. All right, look, some typical qualities. of the integrated animal are self-soothing, self-nurturing, self-loving, um, access to creative inspiration, strong-centered, and contained inner life, capable of empathy, able to make value judgments beyond the realm of pure rationality, um, access to feeling life, food relatedness, happy. Um, some of the qualities of a displaced animal are uncontained, constantly seeking affirmation, lack of creativity, moody, bitchy, uh, poor relatedness, behavior in relationships, designed to relate, designed to isolate the person from others, masochistic, greedy, grasping, self-centered. Now it's crazy, right? Because that definitely be people. You know what I'm saying? That that definitely that definitely be them type of people, bro. If you really look at it like that, see, don't nobody want to acknowledge that and see. That's what I mean. That be the shadow aspect. Acknowledging it don't mean like it's you forever. Acknowledging it means just, you know what I'm saying? It's just you. Hold on, I gotta turn my headphones off. Man, it don't mean you deaf forever, Joe. It just mean, hey, you gotta get it together. Basically, that's it. But I ain't come to give you all of that. I came to give you, hey man, we living a lie. Look, you know you living in a matrix, right? You know you living in a matrix. What role do you really want to play? Well, no, not role. What movie do you want to play in or create? You know what I'm saying? This right here is telling you all the archetypes that naturally already exist inside of you, but how, personally, how it's been utilized against you. Okay, so now we figuring out a way how to, you know what I'm saying, access this aspect of us or whatever, get back inside of ourselves or whatever. Take back over, right? How are we gonna do that? How do we do it? Not how do we do it, but what do we want to do with that? First, right, I'm gonna tell you, you gotta acknowledge what you don't want to acknowledge. Whether it's what you do want to do or not want to do, you gotta acknowledge that. See, I don't want to acknowledge it because I don't want to do it. Sometimes you don't want to do that thing because somebody told you don't do that thing. That thing is bad. You feel what I'm saying? Somebody's like, "Oh, don't do that thing," so you ain't gonna do that thing because that thing is bad. But is that your personal opinion? That's what I mean by that. Acknowledge who you want to be, who you don't want to be. Is that your personal opinion towards yourself? The only way you would know is to go inside of your dreams or inside of yourself and to acknowledge those things, meaning become aware of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? First, clear your mind. So literally become aware of your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Become aware of your thoughts and you know, how you project yourself onto others, how others project themselves onto you. You know what I'm saying? What you're thinking about, who you thinking about. You know what I'm talking about? These are things you want to do and become aware of. Become aware of the subtle things in nature, because those are signs and symbols, and it gives you an advantage. You know what I'm talking about? It gives you somewhat of an advantage on life, basically. You know. But you want to become aware of those ugly, nasty parts of yourself that you deny all day, every day. It don't matter if you don't want to do it. It don't matter if you do want to do it. You have to do it. When you do that, it's like self-empowerment. You know what I'm talking about? Because sometimes, maybe this is just who I am. It is, though, because it's a part of you. You can only transform it. But letting it live on unconsciously inside of yourself or whatever can be hindrance to your spiritual path, whether you consciously on that journey or not. In dreams, myths, and stories, the anima is often symbolized by a person, the opposite of the sex, right? The dreamer of a woman, a sister, a sister, or a cow, or a cat, or a tiger, or a cave, or even a ship. In addition to a person of the opposite sex, the animus could be symbolized by an eagle, or a bull, or a lion. We're trying to figure out that the animus and the anima is the masculine and the feminine aspect of who you are, basically, inside of your dreams or inside of your subconscious, unconscious mind, right? And through the projection that society places inside of you, whatever. When I be saying like what you deem is bad or what they deem is bad or whatever, what you denied yourself becomes a part of your shadow. You know what I'm saying? But what they talk about, the animus and the anima, it holds the archetypes of everything. So this is how it's created, basically. It's telling you to reflect on your earliest memories of your parents, right? Do this separately with each parent, obviously. Where were you in relation to your parent? What are you doing? What are they doing? How do you feel about your parent in this reflection? You feel what I'm talking about? As far as the woman and let's talk about the male, because I'm the male. The male, the animus for the male becomes in the figure of, what do you call that? His mom, when he's a child, basically. So it's obviously separate for the woman. This is basically what they mean when they be like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying, she got daddy issues, so she messing with this kind of guy, yada yada yada. And the same thing with dudes. We don't really be trying to talk about dudes, but that definitely be happening. You know what I'm saying? So it's asking you if they had something to do with what, hold on. If they had something to do, if they say something to you, what would that be? Like, if they if you were to say something to them, what would that be, basically? Create these scenarios in your head, basically. Most people now that's on this journey, we definitely had issues with our parents or whatever. And it's not just, oh, I don't have no parents no more, or you know, well, I'm spiritual now, so my parents ain't my parents, you know what I'm saying? Nah, man, you have to acknowledge these things and come to terms with that, because that lifestyle led you, or that quote-unquote messed up life led you to this point right now. What you do, or what you supposed to do. Now that you got knowledge of self, you go back and be like, yeah, man, well, I know what's going on, to confirm and see if it's that, if it's even that. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of facing your shadow. Describe the way you relate to and how you relate to acquaintances, friends, romantic relationships, the world at large, institutions, representatives of companies, etc. Basically, you know what I'm talking about? How does the world relate to you? How do you relate to the world? Do you ever look at things like this? You know what I'm saying? These are things that affect you when you sleep. You know what I'm talking about? When you sleep, you be like, dang, I had a dream about this, I had a dream about that. But your mind wasn't clear. You know what I'm talking about? You don't really have a clear steer on what it is I want to do in life. I'm just getting up and I'm just going. That's not how it's supposed to be. Because you're the sole controller of life. You feel what I'm talking about? When I say life, I literally mean your life. But if you're the sole controller of your life, you're going to be moving in that fashion or whatever, so everything going to be moving with you like that. Point blank, period. Everything, when you moving, how you supposed to be moving as far as whatever it is you want to do, right? Life gonna move out the way or with you. Point blank, period. You gotta be standing on what it is It is you say what it is you feel. Basically. The self. Didn't think it was going to get here. Jung considered that from birth, each individual has an original sense of wholeness of the self. Whilst the ego is the center of consciousness, the self is the center of total personality. It says, it is the part of the psyche which organizes, directs, regulates, meditates between the conscious, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. Ooh. It says, using the metaphor of the symphony orchestra, the self can be thought of as the conductor and the orchestra as the ego. The conductor of the orchestra and the ego as the orchestra manager, who makes the necessary decisions about the books, tickets, hotels, transportation, meals. This is what I tried to tell y'all earlier. You got all this information inside of your subconscious, right? But the ego is the barrier of, let's say, what you project. You feel what I'm talking about? It's not who you project, it's the barrier of what you project. This is what they say. So if you say I'm a god, and I'm a god means I don't need the ego no more. The ego is going to do everything in its power, you feel what I'm talking about, to stop that. And so on. Without the orchestra manager, the ego, the orchestra doesn't get to perform. But it is the conductor who makes sure that the music is being played beautifully. As an inner guiding function, the self grants a balancing of the opposites between perspectives. Grants a balancing of opposites, new perspectives, new ways of seeing things, a broader and fuller view of life. It is the self that guides us towards individualization and living in an authentic, conscious life. An archetype of wholeness and the, what did it say? Regulating? Oh yeah. And the regulating center of the psyche. The self is symbolized in stories, myths, and dreams by the circle, the square, or the mandala, the royal couple, a divine child, a great spiritual teacher, right? A prophet or savior such as Christ, Muhammad, Buddha, or a jewel, a flower, a golden egg, or a golden ball, or a chalice like the Grail. This is what all, like, so in your dreams, right? If you see anything like this, that's yourself. That's yourself. And y'all, we done read it all too. I ain't gonna lie to you. Didn't even try to do that. But we here on this other book, applying Jung's archetypes in the theory of the collective unconscious. The animus and the anima are very important aspects of male and female unconscious. Especially relating to the archetypes, the anima is basically defined as the feminine aspect of the male unconscious. The animus, on the other hand, is the masculine aspect of the female unconscious. In essence, every man has an inner anima, and every woman has an inner animus. As with all concepts relating to the archetypes in psychology, there are positive and negative aspects of the inner animus. The animus specifically takes the form of a sacred conviction
This conviction is often communicated loudly and insistently. Its forceful imposition on others is masculine in nature. Even the most feminine representing woman may possess an equally hard and obstinate power through her animus. Another aspect of the animus is a lack of belief in expectations, leading to a very all or nothing reasoning. So now it gives you like a better understanding of what this animus and the anima is. As the animus is shaped by the mother, the animus is shaped by the father. You know what I'm saying earlier. This can lead to inarguable convictions in the daughter that result in negative connotations and take form as a demon of death, a robber, a murder, recklessness, silence, abstinence. I can't even say this word. Abstinence. Oh yeah, abstinence. And brutality. This can represent psychologically the semi-consciousness, cold, destructive reflections that invade a woman in the small hours, which can lead to the woman wishing or committing violence on others. The danger lies in the unconscious masculine personifications taking possession of the conscious mind, leading to the action on the part of the woman. But in a more positive light, the animus, like the anima, is crucial in achieving individualization. In the case of the animus, this often results in an increased creative and meaningful activity. Most importantly, if a woman is able to consciously attend to her animus and decipher it, her animus can endow her with positive masculine qualities of initiative, courage, objectivity, and spiritual wisdom. In other words, a woman's animus or a man's anima has the potential to become enabling or destructive. This is a part of yourself that you want to get involved in. When they be talking about it's both masculine, it's both this is what it is with us. Basically. Ultimately, the animus and the woman, like the anima and the man, provide a bridge between the collective unconsciousness, the personal unconscious, and the conscious. From the animus and the anima, archetypes and symbols like the mother and the father are derived. As such, the animus is the key to understanding masculine archetypes in psychology and mythology. Now, I'm finna end it off right here because we have a story that I'm not gonna get into. I don't know. I ain't even gonna say it. But it's a mythology story, and it's gonna go in and tell you some other stuff. So, what we learn here? We learn we got archetypes of the mind. Archetypes of the mind that exist inside of what they call the personal unconscious or your subconscious mind. Right? Then we dealing with our persona. Our persona, hold on, let's go up here. Our persona is worn by Greek actors as they perform before audiences, and it means to sound through image. Right? So we know the persona is how we show the world to ourselves. It's how we show ourselves to the world. And not our true selves. So now what's going on the inside is what we want to show, because it's a mask. You know what I'm talking about? They got you wearing masks now. You know what I'm saying? Then, right? They go in, they talk about the ego. Ego is something good, bad, everything is like that, because it's both negative and positive energies or whatever. But you want to develop a healthy ego. You know what I'm talking about? The ego is, it says, the center of consciousness. It gives everybody personal identity. It's your I. I'm this, I'm that. This is what I want. I. That's the ego. You feel what I'm talking about? Now, everything that you feel like egotism, laziness, lustfulness, selfish, greed, rage, all of that stuff, whatever. Things that you be denying yourself in this world becomes a part of your shadow. You feel what I'm saying? These things become part of your shadow, and it's okay, right? I guess because, oh yeah, it's my shadow. Some people don't believe, but watch this. Disregarding our shadow or being significantly arrogant to believe we don't have one is not only naive but dangerous to ourselves and others. So yeah, we ain't worried about others, but we worry about ourselves, right? You feel what I'm talking about? So it's dangerous to not know what's going on with your shadow, basically. You got to go inside yourself, integrate your consciousness inside of this shadow aspect of who you are, and wonder about things, man. What's going on? Who am I for real, basically? You know what I'm saying? Do this in our dreams. You feel what I'm saying? Then, what else we learn? Projection. Y'all, I'm finna get up off here. I'm just going through what we learned. Projection. You know, so things that dealing with the shadow that we don't like about ourselves or others, or not others, but the world or whatever. But it's really personally about ourselves or whatever. We project that onto the world and others. You feel what I'm talking about? Oh man, I don't like your haircut or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? But deep down inside, you know you want to get one. Like, or you know you need one, so you projecting onto other people. You know what I'm saying? It's something as simple as that. You know what I'm talking about? And the first thing a person do is run from this type of stuff. Because why? Why they run from it? They run from this information because they don't want to face the shadow. Bro, you can talk about you being a God, you being all this. Notice how I haven't said that. I haven't even spoke on the God aspect and none of that. Because none of that is important if you don't know who you are. You know what I mean? The most grand thing about being a God is understanding what it is to think as a God, what it is to feel as a God. Just be a God. Saying I'm a God isn't that. Flying around doesn't define that neither. Going inside yourself and having some form of understanding personally is the greatest thing that you can ever do, because it gives you so much power in life. You know, we could talk about the dreams, because we are talking about the dreams. You definitely have all the power in the dreams. But if in your dreams are influenced by the waking world or whatever, you feel I'm talking about, then we have a problem. Because the dreams are what influence the waking world. So, and you are a part of that, what they call the collective unconscious. And you have a personal unconscious that you travel in every single night when you go to dream. And we have a collective unconscious, which everybody believes in, whatever they believe in collectively. And the world tends to do what it do, okay? So, understand that going inside yourself, you break from this matrix. The matrix is not a computer. Why do I say that? You know, we looking towards AI. AI can't really compete with us unless we believe it. You know, we are the ones that's creating a reality. The matrix comes outside of your mind. It's a projection of the mind. There's 8 billion people on the planet. How do you think they feel about where we live in? You know? And they project that. Reality or dreams is what you call reality. Ooh, man, that juice was so good. That juice was delicious. Okay, look, it tells you now, not tells you, but what else we learn? We learn, it tells you to draw it, but you know how we do. We going inside. Sit down, go inside of yourself, create a white room. Create a white room inside of your mind or whatever, you feel what I'm saying? First, you want to identify your demon, your shadow. Everybody has one. When you in your dream and you running, look back and see what it is. I looked back and saw it. It wasn't pleasant in that state. But you know what I'm talking about? Let me see it in this state. You feel me? Anywho, you do that and go inside yourself and create it, recreate it. You feel what I'm talking about? Create everything about it, all the attributes that you can remember. I'm talking about the power, this, that, and the third, what it does, all of that, okay? And then after you recreate it, imagine yourself reconstructing it, transforming it. See, because energy never dies and it's a part of you. Now I'm calling it a demon, like we all have demons, but they show up to us or whatever. They ugly like that, they be unhealed. So when you go inside your dream and you running, look back, you see what it is, and next thing you know, when you meditate or whatever, you wanna reconstruct that, recreate that. You recreate it, and then you find yourself healing it. You know what I'm talking about? Cause it's still a part of you regardless. You feel what I'm saying? Peace, 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 Dr. Mama. But yeah, this aspect of you is still a part of you. You feel what I'm talking about? So in this little part right here, I'm just going over what we had learned. And it's just a little, right, in this book, it's called the Archetypes Guide, but it's called the application for the shadow, and it's talking about drawing a demon. But I'm like, instead of drawing it, just going to meditation and imagine the demon. Because earlier we was talking about the imagination or whatever, and having the power to access this with the direct imagination. That's what they call it. So if we can do this, identify who and what our actual demon is, or our shadow side is, or whatever, because it comes in the form of whatever it is, a monster, a person, or whatever. We identify that and recreate it. You know what I'm saying, in our minds or whatever, and then heal it. Energy doesn't die, so you heal it and transform it, reconstruct it or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? And let it work for you instead of against you. You know what I'm talking about? When we have dreams and we running from monsters or whatever, you don't even, you know you running, right? But you consciously don't know you running because you was like not all the way. You wasn't all the way conscious, because you come out the dream like, yeah, I just remember I was running, but why you didn't remember to turn around? Because I used to be running a lot, and then I just turned around one time. Now I don't even have dreams like that no more. You know what I'm saying? I was literally telling myself like, boy, you got to turn around. And I turned around, I saw what I saw. You know what I'm saying? And I pondered on that for a while. So I like how they brought this up. Anyways, go inside yourself, meditate, recreate it, heal it. You know what I'm saying? Sit down, tell it you sorry. You know, remember, our shadow is created by whatever. It's us, the world, all that. Because if the world denied you your singing, you want to sing, you want to write music, you want to dance, you want to do whatever, and the world denied that from your parents or whatever, and you know you want to do it, don't matter if you was talented or not, it becomes a part of your shadow. And the more and more it stays and remains unconscious, the powerful it becomes. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to identify that. And then, you know, we be 20, 30 years from now, you have a quote unquote nightmare, and then it's just an aspect of yourself. And you wondering why it looks so beat up and ugly. It's been chasing you for these many years. You know what I'm talking about? You know, our dreams is the real reality as opposed to this. You know, and you look at the real life now, right? You know how in your dreams everything moves so fast, there's no such thing as time, right? A long time ago I told y'all how the world is colliding. You feel what I'm saying? Like the realms, they mixing up now. The time is fast here, isn't it? The time is fast here because the vibration is moving up. You know what I'm saying? So what does that mean, and why is that important? That's important because you have to be familiar with who you are. you know, on the inside, on a personal level. We not really living like that. See, the community that everybody is living in and really want will be a community that's controlled. That's not what you want. You want to live in a community where you living amongst your people, but you in control of your own individual being to do whatever you want to do. That's how you want to get. And a lot of times, what it is you want to do and what it is you don't do, or who you want to be or whatever, is hindered, and you're deterred from that by society, friends, family, anybody. You know what I'm saying? So go inside yourself and figure out who that aspect is. Become familiar with that. I think that exercise is really good. It gives you a whole lot of different what do you call that? Attributes to put on it, but you know, in detail, just who it is, how does it make you feel, why it make you feel like that, why do you have this, how did you accumulate this demon, all of that, you know what I'm talking about, and then heal that motherfucker, basically. That's all it wants. It ain't gonna harm you, it's you. Then it talk about the animus and the animal. That's pretty much the last thing that we learned. The animus and the animal and the self, basically. That's pretty much it, man. We talked about that what do you call that? What is it called? The projection, the directed animation or imagination. We talked about a lot. I really can't believe it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, hey, Dr. Mama, I'm happy to see you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm happy to see you, Dr. Mama. I was trying to look up this little thing, what I had here. Yeah, not study, but we had got into something earlier. I can't even find it. Cause I was finna get up off of here and just cut a little short, cause we done been up here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find this little where I was reading from earlier. Ain't nothing popping. Ain't nothing popping out to me. Oh, that's because I'm not looking in the right place. I don't think, at least. I ain't gonna lie. Oh yeah, right here. Talk about the imagination. It says, before we get into the specifics, I'm gonna just read this over for y'all. Before we get into the specifics of the exercise included in this lexicon, these exercises are done in the realm of the imagination or the imaginal. The realm of the imagination is the central to psychoanalysis, as in Jungian's psychology in particular. We talking about Carl Jung. Carl Jung is the guy that created the unconscious and all that. He really, like, when we dealing with the mind, if y'all really want to understand how the mind is for real, in a philosophical level and all that stuff, as well as psychology, because he's not an author. He's a real psychologist. You know what I'm saying? He been going for a minute though. It said it is through the facility of the imagination that we can access the unconscious content. It says attitudes, ideologies, and orientations that are typically hidden from the conscious. Beyond the obvious psychoanalytic value, the direct imagination is the royal road to creativity. We must differentiate between directed or primary imagination. So when you just sitting there imagining things, you know what I'm saying? We want to. He said we want to make a distinction between the two. We using directed imagination. So that's what I was talking about when I was saying, like, recreate your demon and all that stuff. You want to use the imaginal realm, the direct, really basically visualization. You know what I'm talking about? But People like, people like to hear that. People like to hear what they hear when they be like, visualization, that sounds better. But all it is imagination. You've been doing this your whole life. And then when somebody try to tell you, oh yeah, you should visualize, you trying to read about what visualization is or whatever, but you've been imagining things all day long, your whole entire life. That's the power right there. It says the power to imagine things that have not actually been experienced, on the other hand, commonly been regarded as a key aspect of creative and intelligent thought. On the other hand, this power of imagination has equally commonly been regarded as a passive and mechanical capacity to arrange and order the images of thought arising out of the memory. So they've said that, well, the power to create things, because when we doing that, we doing the direct imagination. So they saying the power to create things or whatever, you get the intelligent thought or whatever, and the creative and all of that stuff or whatever. But it's been swept under the rug basically, as just you just got a good memory. You just got a good ass memory basically. You feel what I'm talking about? When I was a kid I can remember this or whatever, all that stuff or whatever. But no, you can really create things inside of yourself and experience them. This is what I be saying when I be go inside yourself and just experience yourself eating an apple. We all did this before, so you know what an apple tastes like. You have the memory. Go inside of yourself and experience that. If you can do that or whatever, right? Tell me what that is. Tell me what that is when all of this world starts to dissipate around you while you sitting there meditating and you in a whole new world. What does that mean? I'll wait. That's power. There is a wide distinction between the different forms of imagination. It said Coleridge named one extreme primary imagination and the other he called fancy, from the word fantasy. Although all aspects of imagination are important, in-depth psychology, directed, primary, associative, revere, or fantasy, we concern ourselves here with the direct, or in Jung's terms, active imagination. So, direct imagination is an active imagination, meaning you actively doing this, you directing your thoughts, you feel what I'm talking about? Your thoughts and emotions towards a certain agenda, basically. You know what I'm talking about? Like in the previous, creating something. You know what I'm talking about? So this is what we doing here. With anything. Now I was just talking about the demon because that's we going through what we was talking about. But that's what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we get to a better understanding of who we are personally. When I be talking about that, don't take it as a collective thing, as a people thing. You feel what I'm talking about? If you want to take this information, take the information or whatever. But personally, you want to get to a personal level with it. Get intimate with it. That's what you want to do. Dr. Mama, you ain't never late, Dr. Mama. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you something now. As long as I've been up here, it ain't really got heated up until you got here. It don't never do that until you get here. So don't even, you know what I'm saying? Don't even trip, Dr. Mama. Y'all follow Dr. Mama. If y'all ain't follow Dr. Mama, she got that information. Definitely, hey, Dr. Mama, definitely hit me up for this book. I got you. Hit me up for this book. For sure. But and that was just really it on that one. And then we talked about the archetypes. You know what I'm saying? From there, the persona, and so on and so on and so on. Until you get first and foremost, right? The name of the book is called Archetypes Guide. If you can find it, you know what I'm saying, that's good. But if not, you already know where to come. I got you. So what I was gonna say, you are already a god. You already divine. But it just doesn't stop right there. It starts in really understanding the mind, because this is where all the power is at. This is where the God really resides. You're not the physical body. How you project yourself, that's cool. This is the body, the vehicles, the apparatuses that we utilize to have this experience, but that's only an experience. What you gonna do with your experience? First and foremost, you just now come back into I'm a God. So now we gotta understand what they done to this God's mind. The God ain't got a shadow. The God has a persona. You feel what I'm talking about? The God has different archetypes that you utilize to protect you. The ego. All of this is protecting the God or the self. The true mechanism that's really governing your reality. But if you have influences on top of that, outside influences or whatever, then it will mess up the natural process inside of your being. It's a natural way, it's a natural way of life that you're supposed to be living. And everybody's supposed to be living that natural way of life according to their personal self, not according to what society says or how a person thinks. If we look alike, right? I'm telling you, you're supposed to be doing personally what you want to do, not what we do as a people. We not a people, we a species. See, the God inside of us is an actual light. You feel what I'm talking about? You can't really see light. You see how light affects you. But let's just say this. We have an aura around us. That aura is a personal bacteria around you. Basically. Y'all, give me 1 second. I got to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Yo, I'm back. All right, the God inside of you guys, is actual light. So that's the most general term that I feel that I accepted, because watch this. Like I said, all you see is how light affects you. So everything is a form of light. The projection, or what we call what we call creation or whatever, right? These physical objects or whatever is light, basically, right? And everything has a dark, or quote unquote dark side or whatever. That dark side in actuality is a different form of light. It's light that you cannot see. You know what I'm talking about? So that's the light I'm talking about with you. That's your light, the inner light. It's the light that's pushing this quote unquote creation. They always talk about, in religion, they talk about, it's a new light coming or whatever and all that. It's a new light coming. Your light, the light that you cannot see. So it's not going to be something that you see with the physical eye. It's going to be something that you witness with the third eye. You feel what I'm saying? So you have to illuminate yourself. You have to go inside of yourself. You feel me? Now, yourself, or that the real self, or that God in you being light or whatever, why is that important? You can shape that to whatever. You can shape it to whatever. But in order to really know and have this experience or whatever, you have to utilize both masculine and feminine, or both positive and negative energies to utilize that spark. That's it. We can say this 1,000 million different ways, but it's all about which way appreciates you more. That's it. That's all. Some people is okay with Christianity. Some people is okay with Islam. Some people is okay with Luciferianism or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Some people's okay with studying all. But you don't project onto others. You know what I'm saying? You don't project onto others. If I don't understand what's going on, I'm not going to project my fear of not knowing, basically. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? And it's okay to not know. You really shouldn't have no fear of that, basically. And the only reason I say that is because a lot of time that's gonna happen for individuals like us. Whenever we talking about what we talking about or whatever, people gonna be projecting, but you don't. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta you ain't gotta feel. You ain't gotta have no ill will towards them or whatever. They know not what they do. You know what I'm saying? But they come through here, they're gonna know. Ooh, soul here, peace, soul. Appreciate you. Peace, soul, peace. Man, why the family coming here so late, y'all? No, we ain't really talking about nothing. I'm trying to keep it up here. I've been trying to get up here and do more live, but my computer, man, this shit been messing up on me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. So that's why I ain't been up here like that. But I feel like this is an interesting topic, though. It just helps a person understand what's going on as far as with their mind. We already divine beings or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But before we can really operate like that, whatever, you gotta operate on a quantum scale on a mental scale and learn about self. You know what I'm saying? What led you here to be like, man, I'm a god or whatever, is not the information that was brought to you. In actuality, it really be the life that you live, because you have to have some type of dissatisfaction with life to be like, you know what, I'm gonna turn to this on BS, because in all actuality, a person will still get up here and be like, man, this is blasphemous what they're talking about. This is crazy. This is that. So you had to have something in life, going through life, that turned you away, that made you understand this, because all you're doing is understanding yourself. But I'm saying now, when you can really walk away from it for real, you gotta really go inside yourself and understand yourself for real. It's not just about saying, I'm a god, I'm this, I'm that, because you're really more and greater. It's greater things out there than just that. And I keep stressing that or whatever, because that's the topic of the day. Hey, no, we definitely need to do the thing about the OA, for sure. Just let me know. We gotta do the Zoom. We gotta, you know what I'm saying? We ain't even, just let me know. If y'all never saw the OA, me and Soulshyne, we finna do a live lecture about the OA. The OA is it's a TV series on Netflix, I think. It stands for the original angel. But man, I ain't gonna lie to you, it's definitely deep, like she said. Definitely deep. So, but if you haven't seen it though, it's gonna be some spoilers, so I advise you to go watch it. Cause it ain't nothing but 2 parts. It's definitely a lot of episodes, but yeah, it's on Netflix. But if you watch it right, you're gonna be hooked. You ain't gonna turn it off, I promise you. I watched it twice already. And I was like, man, what is this? I ain't trying to watch that. But it's busting. It's called the OA. She said it can be war in 2 days. Man, listen. Real live, man. No, the OA. Hey. And the crazy thing about the OA is it's like so many things in life is talking about that right now, as far as the traveling and doing all of that, going back in time and yada yada yada. A lot of things are talking about that. Games, movies, series. I mean, that's a show, whatever. Everything is talking about that. That's crazy. And ain't no such thing as no coincidences, you know what I'm saying? Like Soulshyne said, they have to show you what's going on. My key and what I'm trying to bring to you is, okay, they telling us what's going on. Most people are telling you like this. They're telling us what's going on because they done took our stuff. They done took our stuff and they trying to take over. They trying to do this. Listen, the world already over. It's already, it's ending. But the new world, as far as the new world order, it's already ended. So we gotta, if that's the case, that means we literally living in a golden age. That means the turns of the tides is on our side. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta know it though. You can't be living like, man, Joe, You know what I'm talking about? They doing it. That's what they want you to believe. And remember, I told you your subconscious is what creates the reality, and what you believe becomes your reality. They really can't do nothing to us for real, for real. Not in actuality, they really can't. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm gonna tell you something crazy. It is because you be like, well, they are doing stuff to us. It's certain people that is or whatever. You gotta think why. Not all of us. You can't just attack all of us. But certain individuals they do because they don't really know which one of us is which. Which they think it's gonna be one individual coming. It's all of us. But they don't know because they base it off of the text, the actual text. You know what I'm talking about? I gotta get you out of here because I don't know what you're talking about. Right? They base it off the actual text. They looking for one Messiah. No. You gotta understand that when you become one with the divine, we all one. I am that I am, Nuk Puk Nuk. You feel what I'm talking about? We all one and we move as a body. And you can't destroy that body, for real, for real. You see, because that reality that we create with our minds or whatever, right? That reality that we create with our minds will shift this entire reality. That's the thing. You feel what I'm talking about? It was shifted. But they don't know. They gonna think they think it's one person. You feel what I'm talking about? Yeah, definitely fact. They think it's one person. Ain't gonna be no one person. It's gonna be multiple people coming through, letting you know what's going on, letting you know, because certain individuals come at a certain time to break down certain things for certain individuals to understand certain things or whatever. All of this information is the same information that's been repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated. You know what I'm saying? But certain individuals go inside of themselves, able to come out, bring something new to the table, whatever. But then again, it becomes the same thing, because all this stuff already exists inside of us, right? They know that too. I don't know why they waiting on what they waiting on, but they believe. They believe it. Oh, hold on, tweaking. See you up there.
Peace.
Peace, 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 peace.
Like, bro,
Oh,
yeah, that's why, it was the divide and conquer. They
yeah,
split us apart with
yeah,
different, different beliefs in between ethnicity and race and all these different things because as the being divided and separated, you can't win together. But once we all get to a similar page, or it's more like we accept each other's differences and then come together for the greater good and put all the differences aside, ain't no stopping because we gonna all just have that one cause to fight for together, regardless of where we come from. Peace.
That's the thing, man. Like they not. I don't think they looking at it like that. They looking at it like what they was told though. But they was told that though. They was given that information. This is probably the reason why they just run around with that. That's why I be trying to tell people they don't take over nothing. They're running around the earth right now. They always talk about the giants and whatever and sleep.
Yeah, and it was
You feel what I'm talking
illusion. The
about?
only reason they had power before is because of all the lies. That's it, lies and brainwashing.
I'm trying to tell you that needed to be taking place or whatever, right? Like you need to be
Mm-hmm.
able to experience that. So when you come into who you actually are, in a new form of reality that's going to be taking place, it will never happen again. Like we just know. You know what I'm talking about? Remember, I always talk about how we lack the experience. This is an experience, man. Because we
Mm-hmm.
come from a peaceful people or a peaceful species. We are peaceful. We don't do all that, but it can get like that. But you
Mm-hmm.
gotta think it's entities here that's naturally. I'm saying, you feel me? And it's inside of us as well.
Mm-hmm.
But naturally, we got it. We got everything, so it's gonna be inside of us. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm talking about? But we'd have been tricked. I feel like some of us been tricked and just, man, I gotta be like this. I gotta be like that. You gotta be divine.
I feel like Slick, our ancestors also, some of our ancestors also let it happen too. You feel? Because, like we could take something from the word, right? It's like, it was like gonna be those that are the head gonna be the tail gonna be the head. So it's like we had to go to the bottom so that we can get flipped right on top. Because that's how it
Man,
started, the law of polarity.
can I say something though? Real
Mm-hmm.
live. Now, like when we talk about ancestors, right? It,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about our ancestors. So it's all of the people that look like us that just came before us physically, right? We could just say that. You feel what I'm talking about? Some of them individuals definitely did do that. Definitely, yeah, was in on this, especially when we get into the knowledge of where we really at right now, as far as in the
Mm-hmm.
world and what this place really represents. I mean, that map, y'all saw that map, the Louisiana Purchase map, and it show you everything here, of
Mm-hmm.
everything in America. It show you Egypt, Jerusalem, Samaria, Italy, Peru, Paris, everything out here. Any little, and a little some type of little district or whatever. It's a little map, Louisiana Purchase map, Missouri, 1904, I think. Look that up. Soulshyne, she
That was
dope.
something big they talked about in school. It's like we didn't pay attention. Some of the stuff they taught us, they skipped right past it. Like they went real quick through it, but spent more time on other things. Spent more time on things that weren't as important, but spent less time on the stuff that was.
I never really paid attention to school, so they got me though. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was never there. You know what I'm saying? If I can get a chance to slip up out of there, I'm out of there. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm trying to go.
Man, see, I was such a goody two shoes in school. But that's because I come from a background of educators. I come from a background of teachers and doctors. So
Yeah.
I was instilled, like if I came home with even a C, I was getting in trouble. It had to be a B or an A, and they really expected A's from me. And I
I,
tell you, the only reason I got A's is because somebody had made a bet that I couldn't get all A's, and if I got all A's, let me tell you, by the end of the year, I had all A's.
oh
Got to
yeah.
give me a go.
No, I ain't see like stuff like that. Like at the end of the year, because I ain't even graduate. At the end of the year, tests and all that stuff, whatever. I ain't never, man. I got locked up when I was a child, like not a child, but like 14 though. So like
Yeah.
before I went to 10th grade, I was getting my work. I was getting my work from my school and my where I was locked up at. So it counted, but like I was just doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Because you felt like there was something more important for you to be learning. Like it ain't click for you.
saying? Man, I was in there fighting
And
for
that's
my
all
life.
right. Because school, like a lot of us, because we are reincarnated and regenerated beings that have already been here, we looking at this stuff like we knew but didn't understand how we knew or know what we knew or what we were feeling like. This feel like BS. But they had this condition in the system. We already know that Rockefeller owns the schools. They didn't want thinkers,
What?
they wanted workers. So of course they changed the system in order for there to be workers. You go to school now for you to be able to train you up for a 9 to 5, going to school for 8 hours, having to follow things of conduct in certain ways so that you will be prepared so you can just fall into the working system. Because
Slavery.
before that, they did have trade schools. Like it's what gets me is the fact that we don't have that many options anymore. And the funny thing is, I was one of the ones that got to experience like right after when I was going through school, a lot of stuff that I got to experience they cut out. Like I was learning cursive in kindergarten. They don't teach that no more. I got to experience driver's ed in school. They took that out. Now you got to go all the way to the
DMV.
DDS. Like they done took culinary, home ec, all that stuff, all these things that are so useful, and you can't learn them until later, or you put in your own energy and things like that to learn. Great to mama.
Man, that's like, and people, I don't like people. They really don't understand that though. Like, it's we could go into like a little bit into like the laws, like not even the law, not the laws, but the actual rights that people really do have, or whatever. All these people be
Mhm.
coming out here and be like, man, we sovereign, y'all want to been, but you ain't got to go pay nobody, right, to like be a part of their group or none of that or whatever. You living, being what you is, you actually have rights. Now, pretty much everybody can do this, but you just got to know how to do this. You walking around, man, I'm this, I'm that, but you walk around don't own nothing about yourself, don't own nothing about what you own or none of that. You feel what I'm saying? Wonder why this stuff
Who
happened
are
to you.
you without all these material things? What you got if you ain't got nothing but you, your heart, and the clothes on your back?
That's
What can you
that's
do?
why,
What can you
man.
create? What type of world you gonna build for yourself? What type of reality you gonna experience?
Nothing. If you worry about what's going on out here, I'm telling
Like,
you, man.
yo, I just had a, I just, I'm channeling.
Y'all, this a treat, y'all. Larry going crazy. We ain't even talking about the lecture no more. She in control. Y'all go ahead.
Yo.
Let her do her thing.
The download that I just got is funny as shit. You know, okay, like they say to fear God, right? I don't fear God, right? Because the thought of fear means that it's gonna block you off. Like you can't even experience the full greatness or appreciation of something because you fear it,
Right.
right? But yet, like that in God we trust on money. Like the U.S. or a lot of different things, what they don't use, the universal God no more. What they praise is money. What they praise is that dollar. What you fear the IRS coming to take your shit. Why you gotta fear? Why you gotta fear certain things? If you fear God, that's what they want you to fear. That fear of not having a piece of paper, like something like that. And I'm not saying money is bad. Money in itself is not inherently bad. Okay, it is. It's what gets done with it that will be perceived good or bad. What is invested with it. How do you get it, and who do you get it for? And all those
Hey,
different aspects that come together to make it, a negative or positive effect. Why
hey,
do you have to fear, like, if you don't pay taxes or something like that? Like, it's just so much different stuff. Like, just thinking about, they want you to fear God, but the God to them is that it's the money, it's the things that if you don't do go out and have a job, okay, and give your life to them and work for their cause, that your world will fall apart and crash, and that's BS, and I hate that for people.
so that's so now that's what I be saying about motherfucker rights. Now, how you be always talking about they sometimes, like, not sometimes, but most of the time when they be getting away with stuff, that because they show you right away. Now, whether it's the physical things or the sport or the like the subconscious subliminal thing, they be showing it to you, and we don't be looking at the stuff or whatever. You feel what I'm talking about? So it be ways I done seen you could just you know what I'm saying, you do certain things and then really just got to worry about that. And that's the only worry that niggas be trying to have, that everybody be trying to have. And I don't even really be dealing with. I don't like to really deal with that little paper, none of that stuff or whatever, because ultimately, no, none of it really exists. So if it don't exist, I'll deal with it elsewhere. You know what I mean when I say that?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Digitally or
Yeah.
something like that. But so
What
I
I don't
got
get
I
is why
got
they
time
do
to
the
focus on
money.
myself.
The
Hmm?
U.S. has its own natural resources. I literally come from a city where the gold rush happened, and where gems can be found in the ground.
But see, that's listen. That's probably like I don't look, cause you know how I'm
That would
serious.
hold its value. Like literally,
They
it would
not
hold its value.
they not
No,
necessarily
no,
what you think. Though. That's what I'm saying. They not, and I don't want to. I want to say they probably like somebody probably own it and they probably trying to buy it. But then again I'd be like I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe not. But we is bringing this back though. That type of resource or whatever, we need that.
mm,
We like us this type of collective. It really needs that. I
yeah.
was reading in
Like
this book. They said, huh?
no, my bad. You got it. I'll hold that thought.
I was reading in this book. You know how we always talk about it's gonna be some form of a balance or whatever, and they gonna balance the world out or whatever. In this book called
Mhm.
the Black Root Science, they were saying how it's gonna be 1,000,000,008,000,000. That's our natural or like our natural population that we supposed to have
Mhm.
on Earth, for us to not be infringing on other people and all of that stuff, and animals and plants and everything and resources. This is what they say.
Mhm.
All right, lay it on us. Lay it on us.
So I was thinking about how, like, how we was just talking about, if you got your own land and it has its own resources, right? But yet they got their hands and so like people ain't never thought it was weird that you got to give a portion of your money, like literally a portion of everybody your money. Like in church when they say give 10% for God, I never did that shit because I was like, no, like the people that I was with when I was being forced to go to church, then they tried to force me to give my money from me working hard to the damn church when I didn't even choose to be there. I was like, no, I'm not. 10% to God, that means 10% to my savings, 10% to me.
Right.
But it's like having the hand in the damn cookie jar. Like, okay, I live on my own land, okay? So I live on my own land. Why is it that in order for us to supposedly cut down any trees to sell for firewood or make any extra money, we gotta pay taxes when they don't come and do shit on the land? We the ones that get the grass cut. We the ones maintaining the stuff. Like why do we have to pay taxes on if we just were to cut down a tree and sell things? Why are we paying taxes I don't know if that's.
Can I,
Mhm.
what you call it? Can I say something?
Mhm.
Contracts. Like, okay,
Mhm.
like we talk about spiritual contracts, we also got physical
Mhm.
binary thing. Now we know how we talk about like if we own some land and you get a deed to the land or the title to the land, right?
Mhm.
They only give us a title. They don't give us the allodial title. The allodial title will be something that you can get that you can get that will take you off the actual docket of
Yeah, the bank owns
of
your
where you at.
title part,
Yeah,
because that if
yeah.
they anything gonna take your shit, like that's
But you
crazy.
can you can still, if you have a title, if you have the title or the deed or whatever, you still can get the allodial title. You just have to have this.
Mhm.
That's the only requirement of having that. You know what I'm talking about? Just saying that you actually own this or whatever. Because technically, it's kind of like the persona. It's kind of like this is what you show in the world, but behind the scenes, somebody else owns it. So behind the scenes, you saying I own this too when you get the allodial title, basically. But watch this. Let's just say you didn't do that. Let's say you didn't do that. What we don't do now is this: we don't bury our people on our land no more. Sometimes we don't own land, but if we can
Mhm.
own land, we don't do that. You own land, you gotta pay property taxes. What we used to do back in the day
Mhm.
was bury our people, and that just dissipates all of that or whatever. But then what they did,
Mhm.
they created graveyards.
Because it secretes the land.
Yep. But they created graveyards. So now you feel like fear, but what you just said, you feel like you have to get this, you have to get that, you have to get this to bury your person in this. When you probably not even gonna never visit them again.
Mhm. Or
Right,
for
they
those
right
that
there.
do.
You know what I'm saying? They could be right there in their backyard, you know what I'm saying? Close. Energy there still. You know what I'm talking about? This
Mhm.
is what we used to do. And right there, that if you don't want to get involved in that, register your animal, and then once your animal passes on or whatever, it is a family member. That definitely works as well. But these is loopholes. You know what I'm saying? It's the world we living
Mhm.
in right now.
See, I'm glad that my father is he side. Okay, so he done told me, he was like, after he died, he was like, don't come visit this vessel. He was like, this vessel in the ground. He's like, I ain't gonna be there. He's like, once you put me in the ground, you ain't gotta come and see me. And I also understand the same fact. Like, I look at death completely the same. I don't even like it. I empathize with others, but I don't get sad over death anymore either, because I understand that it's just another beginning. Because energy does not die. The energy that is in that body just goes somewhere else. We may not know exactly where each one goes, okay? But I also understand that with the connection that I have with myself, the ancestors who are close to me and in my blood, their blood, I come from them, which means our blood is the same. Even when they're gone, they are still with me. They are within me. So I don't feel that, that fear anymore, because I just understand that they're never really gone. Like, the illusion of them really being gone is just not there anymore.
Like when I was like, well, since I became aware or self-aware of who
Mhm.
I was or whatever, I understand that like when I become sad, stuff like that or whatever, it don't really be like, because now I understand the different energies or whatever. It really be just the
Mhm.
physical. It be the physical vessel. You feel what I'm talking about? But
The
it's
attachment to the memories, really.
mhm, that it's that imagery that that you identify that with or whatever. But
Mhm.
I'm okay. I'm okay and I'm comfortable with the other aspect now because it's gonna be something more greater. That's just a bridge right there. The little memory that we have where that's just the bridge. But this individual is so much more bigger and more complex than what they was. They ain't going through no more suffering,
Mhm.
none of that no more. And they're able to do or not, like you say, you feel what I'm saying? You can help them out. They probably ain't believe you. And I searching for what's going on because they remember, damn, my niece or my nephew, my cousin, whatever, they was talking that sass. I gotta hit them up.
Mhm.
Now they calling for you. It's like that.
But see, there are people close to me. There's someone that's really close to me, and they have been contacted by their ancestors, and it's getting stronger because they're stepping into their soul purpose. Now I'm so excited for them. They're stepping into their soul purpose, right? And connecting more with themselves, and now their ancestors is turning up and letting them know that they are near them, and they are actually communicating with them, and they are showing them that they are there. And I'm like, yo.
This is what it is. That's what it is. That's a beautiful feeling. That's what you really want to strive for. I be trying to tell people, if it's not the chakras, the ancestors is like to me, is That's the first line of defense. If I'm
Yeah.
talking about for enemy, you want to tap into all these other things.
The
Whatever they've been
unseen
here,
standing guard right on around you.
man. Yeah, they've been here in the physical. Now they
Just
in the
non-physical.
spiritual. Yeah, I'm saying, you feel I'm talking about. So they know both polarities is what I'm saying. You know, a lot of gods
Mm-hmm.
ain't what you call ain't a lot of these spirit or divine entities or whatever what we call gods and goddesses or whatever haven't lived a physical life. What we doing is the greatest work ever. I'm talking about they only existed in the mental planes, our minds. So they still only existed
Mm-hmm.
inside of us. But now we come and do the ultimate work doing this physical body.
Yeah, because Earth is level difficulty difficult.
You feel me? And they don't want to do that. That right there should just show people how great it is. I ain't gonna lie to you. But
I do. I try to tell people that. I'm like, regardless of how you feeling, and what you've been through, you still here for a reason, or else you would have been, you would have been in non-physical. Like your body wouldn't be here no more. It's not like, you won't have to take yourself out. Like when it's time for you to go, you gonna go.
right. Not a case, for real, you know. Like, it could be real depressing when you're trying to figure out who you is or whatever. You know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about on this journey or whatever. But you can't lose focus. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, you here for a reason. I used to be thinking about that, like, but I understand that that's not a bad thing. You can go through that, but in going through that, you can't let that become you. You know,
Mhm.
can't let it
Got to
become
be able
you.
to see your way out of it.
Yeah, and figure out who it is you is for real, for real. That's what this is about. I'll probably do this type of lecture again. I don't know. It's Carl Young lecture or whatever. I don't know how long I've been up here. Soulshyne. I was planning on getting off. I ain't gonna lie to you. Family
And it
came
popped
here.
up there. My B. I
Nah,
was like, oh, let me pop in.
nah, y'all decent. I appreciate that though because it really shifted the energy somewhere where it shifted it where it's supposed to have been. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm gonna try to do this
Yeah.
again too.
I love talking with you. Like our conversations be oh I tell man I tell my boyfriend I'm so thankful for y'all and I love y'all so much. I was like I got people I can talk to now.
Man,
'Cause it really do. You feel like knowing the things that I've known or that I've been learning, and it's like feeling. I used to just try to talk to anybody about it. You feel like I
nah,
used
you
to try
can't
to
do
talk to
that.
anybody. You can't talk to
Nah,
everybody
you can't do
about it.
that. Nah,
But
for
I've
real.
created my own, But now I'm running into more individuals that I can. It's so fulfilling to be able to, talk about the things that I enjoy and that, are just they mean the most to me with others, and then we can also grow off of that and also learn and also, not judge. We just learning and growing and just, conversating and it go wherever it's gonna go, and it's just appreciated on both ends.
See, no, that right there, I don't think people understand how important it is because watch this. If you could just accept a person and you know they accept they ain't judge you obviously face to face.
Mm-hmm.
They not they not judge you behind your back. You got judging them because when you kind of thought projection, they gonna get
Mm-hmm.
sent towards that person because you think about that person. They probably kind of pick up. So it really just runs off purity. You know what I'm talking about? And when they run off that, yeah, it ain't no toxicity there.
Yeah.
Like alkaline water
Like
just
I
flowing
feel more
naturally.
comfortable with y'all. Like I feel the most comfortable with y'all than I've even felt with like blood relatives and stuff like that. Like just
That's how it be.
that soul vibe.
Hey, can I say something? Now that you said that,
Mhm.
you know how you always talk about family issues and problems and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
Me being the prideful Leo I am, I always just felt like it just couldn't happen to me. Now I definitely been the what do you call that? The black sheep of the family. Ooh, it just can't happen to me, yada yada yada. But I thought that by ignoring the side of my family that I deemed that would be where I was that black sheep. I thought by ignoring them and just let them do what they do, whatever, I was doing what I was doing. But
Mhm.
every time I hear something, I would respond. So obviously I ain't doing something. And I just learned. I'm like, oh, I had a real petty situation. You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
I was, who it was? Oh, my dad. I don't know, man. Basically, I just heard something, so I called him. I called him on my birthday. I'm like, listen, man. He said, happy birthday. I said, no, 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 I just want to hear something. You've been talking about me, you've been sneak this on me, yada, yada, yada. He like, no. I'm like, no, just hear me out. Have you did this, that, and the third or whatever? He was like, he really deflected me. He told me, look, I'm really mad about, I think 2, 3 years ago. I posted my sisters and he got my dad is like 40 something. He got a new baby and I didn't post her, but I don't know. I'm lost at that. I feel like that was petty and I understood that I was ignoring, I was doing good for a long time. So I just allowed this situation to just reel me back in. So from then on, I've been cooling. It's all about understanding. You can mess up. Players mess up. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm talking about? But nigga been cooling though. You feel me? But that's how I see it. Everybody be expecting some oh man, a spirit came to me and talked to me and did that. Before you can do that, you gotta get through the human stuff first. You know what I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about? You gotta get through the human side of yourself first. People don't do that. I'm a God, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. If you're a God, why are you still allowing things to dictate your life, your energy, your actions, make you feel this way, do things or
Your
whatever?
emotions, all that,
hmm I had to come to grasp with that, man. I'm trying to tell you. Shit hurt.
triggers and stuff.
That shit hurt.
No, legit, because it's like I be looking at myself now and the different traumatic experiences that I've been through. The fact that I can talk about them, you feel like
Yeah.
I can talk about them and it don't trigger me. And then in the same aspect, like any individual that's ever hurt me, anything like that, like I could still talk about the good times and the bad times. I'll let you know about the bad times why I left, but I can talk about the good times and the bad times without, being like just being salty about it. Like I can talk about both of them, and I appreciate both of, like, both the good and the bad aspects. It just is what it is at this point.
Man, that's how I feel like it's supposed to be looked at because it's a what do you call that? It's a lesson. You know what I mean? Like what you supposed to
Mhm.
you want a cookie because you learned something, or you want a cookie because or what do you call it? Or Band-Aid because somebody just keep on doing it. It's gonna keep on happening. You know what I'm saying? I
Because you
mean
let it
scarring.
keep happening at
You know,
that. But not
you know
we,
what I'm.
not too many people want to talk about that accountability, man. Because at a certain point, you do get to have a choice, whether you're not going through a cycle, you gonna keep hitting restart, or you gonna finish that load and put it in the dryer and put them clothes up.
Man, who said? Did somebody say that? I feel like you said this. I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like you said this. I feel like you said
What?
it was different between insanity and crazy, or
Yeah, I
something like
did. I
that.
say that all the time.
Man, I never heard it like that, but that's what it is. Because insanity definitely is repeating the same thing over and over, and
Mhm.
expecting different results. No, man, you gotta get crazy. You gotta talk about the complete opposite. Do the complete opposite. Think the complete opposite. Just get crazy.
But
And don't
see,
wait.
insane is predictable. That's why I like it. Insanity is predictable. Crazy is not.
No, not at all. It's subjective. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I had to go inside to get this. It's many different ways we can talk about this information. Like I said, y'all, Soulshyne just came here and just put it on there. But look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm finna pop up off of here.
Oh
Um,
no, you good? Just let it pop on for a second.
I'm, I'm finna put this up on my YouTube, y'all. Soulshyne, I'm finna put you up there too. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, okay.
So yeah, you gotta know. Every time I put a live with Soulshine, that buffer go up. So it just be the energy. Gotta put it up. But I'm gonna try to get this back. Like I said, like I was trying to get the last one out, but oh, my computer, I don't know what's going on with this thing.
Your
I don't know what's
computer.
wrong.
You doing it on the phone, ain't you?
No, I'm doing my live on the phone, but I'll be reading from my laptop because I got a Mac, and then I got all my stuff
Oh, you
connected
talking
or
about
whatever.
your
So
stuff
yeah,
reading. Okay, not the actual uploading.
yeah. I could take that because I
What? See,
can't.
that be you and 360. Y'all computers be having all types of stuff go on. What the hell's up with that?
I'm a listen. Let me
I'm
tell
gonna
you this
need
right
you to
now.
put a clear quartz crystal on your computer.
No, me, me and my we make music. I make music. He record my music for me,
Mhm.
and he gave me the laptop. I forgot what kind of laptop this is. It's an iMac something. He gave it to me or whatever. I'm lazy. I didn't I didn't restart it and then put all my other stuff on there. So it be moving like how it be moving for him. It used to be like really fast when I first came back over here because of the Wi-Fi. But now I done added so much stuff on here. It's starting to move like my cell phone because it got all my stuff from my cell phone on it. It got like so many, like, whatever you want to call that,
Yeah.
messages and
You
everything
might
else.
also have to get your own Wi-Fi box too. Look, I got my own Wi-Fi in the house where it already came with Wi-Fi because me sharing Wi-Fi with everybody else while they got their phones, laptops, and TVs on it, streaming all that, taking up all the broadband. I got my own Wi-Fi now. All I got is my laptop, my iPad, my phone, and my Fire Stick on that thing. My shit, phew, 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 phew. Because when I started, my videos would take forever to upload. Like
Yeah.
when I started, it would take forever. Now you see them up here, bow, 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 one after.
Oh, I'm trying to tell you, that's like it really make you not want to do no videos when
Man,
it get to making curtains type
it
of
used to
crazy.
take days, take a whole week for something to upload. I used to be so pissed. I ain't, mm-mm.
I ain't got no time because I be having stuff I want to talk about with y'all, but then it has like a duration of time that your videos will last when we like after we get them, like, and then it's just a matter of downloading them basically. But the Wi-Fi is pretty high. It just the laptop though. I really don't want to restart it. I ain't got time to be doing all that. I'm really lazy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Quit being lazy.
Uh, it is what it is.
You
I
know
want to got an
exactly what
iPad.
you need to do. You want
Listen,
to do it, do it.
I want to got an iPad. So if all this fails, I'm just read from this thing. You feel me? I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie to you. But man, Joe, um, I forgot. Hey, y'all look.
Hmm.
Hey, give everybody your information. Y'all can. This is somebody y'all follow Soulshyne because she definitely has the information. She does lives every single day. But I'm gonna let her take the mic right now.
Yeah. All right, peace, y'all. Soul shine. All right, my TikTok goddess of life 111 or soul shine, because that's what my soul do. My soul was shy. Now it just shine. Okay. I do readings, for the collective. I'm not doing personal reads right now. I drop motivation, you feel? I just drop stuff that I be thinking about, just a place for me to you may like something, you may be thinking about something that I was thinking about too. And then, you might feel validated or accepted, you feel? You accept me, I'm gonna accept you. We respect each other. I respect you, you feel? Real shit. All we doing is growing, loving, elevating together, enlightening each other together, you feel? Sharing that energy and just coming up, you feel? That's all I'm about. But I'll let you know I'm crazy. Don't mess with none of mine. Don't mess with my business. And I won't have to flip the switch, because that flip, bro, last time I flipped that switch, an earthquake happened. That's all I'm gonna
Trying to tell y'all, man.
say.
Y'all gotta really know, like, people, y'all just be thinking people just be saying anything. People don't be just saying anything. You know what I'm talking about? It sounds so practical. That's what it's supposed to be because it's naturally inside of us. So when I say do, I say do. That's what I'm talking about. It's gonna move. People gotta understand that, understand that, because the world gonna show you what the world gonna show you. But we come to do a different thing to this actual world. You know what I'm saying? This is what I meant by the golden age. The golden age means two different things because it's a dual aspect. It means the golden age and it means the apocalypse. So apocalypse means the golden age for us. The apocalypse means revelation. It means to reveal. What are we doing? We're revealing the truth and uncovering the truth.
And applying those aspects and those dualities and lifestyles to ourselves in order to live better, love better, do better, and be better.
I'm telling you. Look, y'all be safe. That's Soulshyne. Y'all follow Soulshyne. Like, don't just be sitting there. Like, get the information because she be dropping them every single day. I just heard that conversation we had about Wi-Fi. I'm telling you, she dropping them every single day. People don't be just saying anything. She do. Cause I be seeing them every single day. And she channel every single day. I don't know how she do it. If you can channel, because listen, when a person's a true channeler, they going inside, and it's like it does something to your energy. So you can't really be doing it all day every day because it's depleting. So when a person does do it all day every day, that means they've done something with their ashe to elevate it to a certain level to where I can do this all day every day. You're saying you're allowing spirits to come talk to you and do all this, pull on your energy, everybody else, all at once. Think about what an individual is doing when they channel it. So get the information when she's doing it, and she just giving it because when she go pop, it's over with. You feel what I'm talking about? Cause hey, it's gonna be a time when this information is gonna be like, man, it's gonna be scarce. Right now it ain't scarce. We sharing it. Age of information, Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
When that shifts, what you think is gonna happen? What you think gonna happen?
See, I
If
want to
you
say
slow,
something real quick. I know we're trying to get off. Like, we just got
go
to
ahead,
end it in the military.
go
Because it's
ahead.
really, just transparency. Like, with you talking about me channeling every day. I slick be comparing, even though I do my best not to. Like, there are other individuals who, who have inspired me, right? Like, they do readings every single day, all day and stuff like that. And it's like, I'll try to, do my little bit, or I do a lot of bit of work, but it's like I be feeling like, I'm doing less, but it take a whole lot more energy for me to do it. And I wish I could honestly do readings all day, every day. But with the way my energy is set up, I do what I do. What I do is profound. However, I would like to do more, but my energy is set up for a certain type of way right now. And, it's like I do what I do, but I slick be feeling like I don't be doing that much. But you just made me realize that I do.
You do. You know, man, you know you do. That be that self criticism right there, which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. But
Hmm.
sometimes right now we just gotta know right now. And I'm not saying this in a negative or positive way. I'm just saying it because it is what it is. Like I'm saying what
Hmm.
I witnessed. You know what I'm saying? Now which we are best we are worst and best critic, I guess, you feel what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
But what I do personally from a personal standpoint, I get on TikTok, right? And all I see is videos. I see more videos from, and I don't really, you know what I'm talking about, but I see videos from you more than you, than all and then Alchemist and and Ice. You know what I'm talking about? So I, I listen. I see like 20, 30 videos of you in a day. I ain't gonna lie to you. And don't be the same videos. I try to heart. I try to look through them and be like, I'm trying to be supportive or whatever. It's a whole lot of them. So I know you doing a lot. And then when you go to the live, it's like somebody on live, Soulshyne on live. You feel me? So yeah, man, you definitely doing it. And then I subscribe to you on YouTube. So I get on YouTube and be like, somebody else like Soulshyne dropped the video about an hour ago, 53 minutes ago, something like that or whatever. So it's just about not what you putting out personally, I feel like, but
Hmm.
personally, the stuff that you are putting out, how much of it are you taking in for yourself? Because you do be doing readings for other individuals, but how much on a day-to-day basis do you take it in? Like, yeah, this is, you know what I'm saying, on a personal scale? Because we might get the same thing, like this, like that. That's just keep coming up. It's like a recurring dream. So what am I taking that from this? You know what I'm saying? Everything. But you might be doing that already. But and if you're doing that, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know what to tell you. What one word can I say? See y'all, this is a product of an individual that works really hard at what they do. You feel what I'm talking about? They never be satisfied with what's going on. You feel what I'm talking about? They put out so much work, they never be satisfied. I feel like it ain't enough. But they know it's enough. Or do they? I don't know. You feel what I'm talking about? This person right here is a great individual. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie. And she young, y'all. She young. She ain't like ancient, but she ancient in the soul. I'm serious. I'm serious. The soul ancient. The soul ancient, but the vessel is not. You feel what I'm talking about? So that should tell you
Hmm.
something because she could be outside right now talking about something that's pink or something that's brown, which is okay because there's a duality aspect in it. But she could be doing this because I feel like most of us, more of us, could be on this level now. The information is out here, but hey, the media push what they push. Remember, it's all about mind control with the media. You feel what I'm saying? But hey, she young and she got her own business, all type of stuff, man. This is something we should be talking about and acknowledge what I'm saying. So, time to tell you. I'm trying to tell you, but hey, we gotta build. Hey y'all, we finna get off of here. For Soulshyne, we gotta build on the OA. Like you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying, whenever you trying to like do the little what you call it, what we
I
do,
want to do it soon, bro. I'm so excited. Like I want to do it while it's fresh. Like
long while you
not as
doing.
like I got it. Like I'm still. It's like subconsciously, it's still integrating. I have integrated the information of just watching the OA into my own being now, and I literally have changed. I have changed since I watched that, and I see it in myself. You know what I
Get out of
mean?
here. Get out of here. What? How many times you watched it?
only watched it once.
Hey y'all, hey look. Y'all just heard her experience, right? Y'all think she lying. The show is just like that. I watched it twice. I'm trying to tell y'all. She ain't lying though. Like she said like it was a drug. I have changed.
Legit.
I have changed. What are you talking about? I'm telling you, it will do that to you. If you go into it with that intention and that perspective, I'm trying to tell you, man. And listen, y'all think we just saying anything. If y'all saw the OA for real, I don't know who it was
It
that wrote it.
activated me. It completely
I'm
activated me.
telling you, movements. They got movements. What?
Tell
Stop
me why
playing with
I
me.
called myself trying to do the movement.
Hey, no, but look though. Listen. That's the whole thing with the realm of with the realm of with the imagination or whatever in the collective unconscious. Now it's us that understands what's going on or whatever, right? But what about the individuals that because it's really prone towards, let's say, kids or whatever, young kids that's involved in stuff like this. They believe in the fantasy of it all or whatever. You feel me saying? Meaning like it's they like it, but it can't really happen or whatever. We can actually access this or whatever by with our ashe and actually tapping in with the intention is what I'm saying. And then the experience is subjective, but you logically resonate with that on awakening on a, you know what I'm talking about, on a conscious level. You don't resonate with it or try to resonate with it when you get in the experience. You
You
just let it
trying to
happen.
get up out of here, and you keep saying shit that make me want to say more shit.
You said,
You're tingling. Like, oh my god.
hey, no, look, y'all, look, hey, look, y'all, look, we gonna slide, y'all. We gonna slide. Hey, when we gonna do the Zoom? We gotta do a Zoom before before we slide on there.
Either tomorrow or the day after.
What's tomorrow? Let me see. I'm looking for my phone. My phone right here. What's
Look,
today?
I've been getting to the point like I'm literally my schedule like I'm over here having to pencil stuff in or marker stuff in. Like I gotta look at my schedule now before when somebody asks me about something. I gotta look up at my schedule first.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's how I don't pencil nothing in, but I do be kind of like what's today's date? Not today's date. I think it's the 21st. But what's today? Today Monday?
Yeah, today Monday, tomorrow Tuesday.
I swear I thought today was Wednesday.
My grandma thought it was Tuesday. What's up with y'all? Y'all in different energy. That's what.
I thought today
This
was
nigga,
Wednesday.
this nigga over here 3 days ahead. It's like
Y'all
you
telling you.
3 days ahead, but technically both of us over here 3,000 years ahead. But you know what?
Hey man, I'm telling you, man. Hey, look, no, hey, never mind. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't, I ain't even gonna say it. I ain't even gonna say it. We gonna slide on up out of here. Hey, Soulshyne, you got anything else? You got anything else to say?
No, because if I say anything else, we not leaving.
All right. Hey, look, y'all be expecting me and Soul to go live together or whatever in the near future, few days, couple days, or whatever. We're gonna be talking about the OA. That's why I say y'all follow Soulshyne so y'all can go ahead and get it. Y'all can't miss it because listen, I ain't gonna be talking about nothing. I'm gonna just give it to you right now. She got this. I know she got something. I got what I got. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what I got. But I know she got something. It's a knowing aspect. You feel what I'm saying? How you know you got it? I'm talking about the same way you know you got it, same way when it comes to this. This is what I'm getting at. I'm trying to tell you. So you can't miss this is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say it, y'all. Y'all hear this long? You can't miss this. For sure. But look, y'all be safe. Y'all stay dangerous. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Be peaceful and pro-righteous. You feel what I'm saying? Remember,
Yeah,
we
love.
just a species out here, light and darkness. But you know what I'm saying?
Okay, one last thing. That's it. If y'all come and you follow me, right, just be on the lookout. I'm gonna do a post before we go live, so you'll know when we're going live, so that you can be there or be square. All right, pencil it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She definitely be doing that. All right, y'all be safe because we be on here all day, every day, doing this. You feel what I'm saying? Because the energy never dies. When
It
we
don't.
slide, it never dies when we slide. So
We
I ain't
go
gonna lie
in
to
and
you.
out of realms and dimensions and
Telling you.
Going back in time, going into going forward in time, coming back to the present, doing all this jumping around.
See, it be a, never mind. Look, y'all be safe. Y'all be safe. All right, so
Bye, love you.